Alter Dimension, Lucky Dungeon Master. Alex, a young man with ambition but unfortunate life. He grew up as an orphan and from a very young age, learned to stand on his own feet. Barely making a living by searching through the dump site for things that could be sold. One day, when he came back home from the dump site, Alex decided to rest on the new sofa that he got from the dump site just the other day. But unexpectedly something magical happened to him. A stone inlaid on the sofa suddenly brought him to an alternate dimension. Chapter 1. Sofa's Unknown Black Stone. On the outskirts of Pearl City, a dump site is located where all the trash from the city is dumped. Trucks come and go, pouring massive amounts of trash here daily, forming mountains after mountains of waste of different kinds. And in this kind of place, a young man with black hair and black eyes can be found rummaging through those mountains of trash. Clad in black leather, the young man traveled the mountain of trash with great familiarity. Behind him is a bag filled with all sorts of junk that he picked up from the trash. This young man is Alex, a 17-year-old young man. Alex is an orphan. He doesn't know who his mother and father are. He was raised by an old man who picked him up when he was still a baby. The old man died when he was 7 years old, and from then on, Alex lived all by himself. Because of that, Alex has to make a living to put food into his stomach on his own. That is why he's here, in the midst of all this trash, trying to pick up junk that can still be used and then sell it. Through this, Alex was able to feed himself and buy the necessary things for his everyday life. Unfortunately, today seems to be a bad day because Alex only picked up a few things that can't even be sold at the general store. Sigh, today's trash doesn't have anything good, hey. While sighing, Alex rummaged through the trash around him and picked up a few pieces of scrap metal. I can use this, Alex said. Then he stood up and stretched his limbs, waist, and back. Up in the sky, the bright orange sun is already blazing with terrifying heat, as if to burn everything under its light. Seeing that, Alex said, I guess it's time for me to go back. I don't want to be roasted by the sun out here. Jumping through a few piles of trash, Alex soon got out of the dump site's premises. Woo. Whistling as he walked towards his home, Alex felt relaxed. Alex's house is not far from the dump site and he arrived after walking for less than 5 minutes. His house is just a small one made out of wood, but it was enough for a lone young man to give him shelter from storms. Alex entered the house and was welcomed by a few pieces of old, dilapidated furniture inside. Although everything looks old and tattered, the house is actually clean and tidy. There is not even a speck of dust that can be found since Alex always tries to keep his house clean to at least give it a homely ambience. Alex heaved a sigh of relief after finally getting out of the sun's blazing heat. Ugh, I'm finally back. It's so hot outside, I want to drink some water. Alex took a pitcher of cold water from an old refrigerator that he had also found in the dump site in the past. Glurg, glurg, glurg. Puh, now I feel refreshed. While humming a tune, Alex headed to the bathroom, quickly washed his body, and came out feeling cool and fresh. I'm a little tired, so I guess I'll sit down first before making lunch. Alex sat down on the only sofa inside his house. So this is what sitting on a sofa feels like, hey. Alex muttered as he felt the comfort brought by the softness of the sofa. I'm glad I took this back yesterday, Alex said with a satisfied smile. Since Alex doesn't have the money to buy new furniture, most of the items he has are from the dump. Since they are still usable, Alex didn't hesitate to use them for himself. I guess I'll take a nap first. Saying that, Alex closed his eyes and placed his hands on the armrest. Since this is an old sofa from the trash, there are some broken parts here and there. So when Alex put his hands on the armrest, his palm landed on a broken part where a glossy black metal-like thing is visible. The moment his skin made contact with it, Alex felt a stinging pain come from the tip of his index finger. Ouch! He hurriedly retracted his hand to take a look at it. Alex saw that there was nothing wrong with his hand, so he turned his attention to the black metal on the armrest. What the hell is this? Suddenly, Alex was hit by sleepiness out of nowhere, and in an instant, he fell on the sofa, unconscious. What Alex didn't know was that, when his finger made contact with the black metal, a drop of his blood was absorbed by the unknown metal. When Alex next opened his eyes, all he saw was white as far as his eyes could see. Where is this? Facing this unknown situation, Alex remained calm and tried to study what was happening first. Just as he was deep in thought, a voice suddenly sounded around him, and a translucent screen appeared in his eyes. Welcome to the world of Altera. Altera. Alex muttered. Without paying attention to Alex, the voice continued to speak, and the screen in front of Alex's eyes showed the scene of the story about to be told. A long time ago, ancient gods ruled the world of Altera. Everyone lived a full and happy life. However, happiness doesn't last forever. A space rift opened all over Altera and demonic gods invaded, spreading chaos and destruction everywhere they went. Angered by this, the ancient gods fought the demonic gods, which is now called Holy Gods' last battle. After a long battle, the ancient gods won, but they have also suffered and are at the end of their lives. Not wanting the people to live in a world without a god to guide it, the ancient gods created 12 new gods who now rule the world. Alex carefully listened to the story being told by the voice and was amazed by the scenes that he saw on the screen. Whoa, that was frightening, he muttered. At this time, the scene on the screen changed and the voice sounded. Please create your character. Chapter 2. Character Creation. Please create your character. Create my character. Alex looked at the screen in front of him and felt a little familiarity with it. This feels like those games that I played before, he nostalgically said. On the screen, there's a humanoid figure without any features. I don't know if this is a dream or what, but I guess I will start creating my character first. Alex started fiddling with the screen and soon finished creating his character. I'll make my face remain as it is then. I should increase my height a little since I think I'm too small, put on a little muscle and, that's it. Soon, a copy of Alex appeared inside the screen, just a little bit taller and more muscular than he originally is. Then, without hesitation, Alex pressed the confirm button at the bottom right corner of the screen. Then, the next moment, a bright white light covered Alex. Whoa, what is happening now? Not long after, the light disappeared, and in the spot where Alex stood before, a taller and more muscular Alex replaced him. What was that all about? Alex confusedly muttered. A mirror suddenly appeared in front of Alex at this time, letting him see himself. This. Turning his eyes toward his own reflection, Alex was surprised at first before a smile appeared on his lips. Whoa, making it taller and more muscular really gave me a totally different vibe. Alex flexed his muscles in front of the mirror for a while, enjoying the vanity it brought him. After a while, Alex got tired of it and dismissed the mirror. Now that I'm done creating my character, choosing a class is what should be next. Just like he expected, after dismissing the mirror, a bunch of classes appeared on the screen, such as warrior, archer, assassin, sorcerer, and healer. Alex checked the selection of classes and said, so this is the beginner class, hey. Beginner classes, as their name implies, are the classes that are available for beginners to choose from at the start of the game. But as you progress in the game, your class can go through an advancement, or you might also discover a completely different class as you explore the world more. That's why completing quests and going through different trials are very important. Well, that's how it is with games. As for Alex's situation right now. Anyway, Alex contemplated for a bit as he analyzed each and every class. I don't know what's suitable for me, but I guess I'll choose assassin since it looks cool. After picking his class, now it was time for Alex to name his character. Alex rubbed his chin and thought for a while before inputting his name. 0. There. Alex nodded in satisfaction as he looked at his name, saying, it looks cool enough for an assassin. As Alex completed the character creation process, the screen in front of his eyes disappeared. Suddenly, a figure of an angel flew down to Alex. She was full of divine brilliance that Alex can't explain himself. A holy existence that came from the sky. The angel looked at Alex and opened her mouth. 0. May you have a fruitful journey in the land of Altera. After saying that, she waved her hand, and a black hole appeared in front of Alex and sucked him in. Alex was surprised by all this and wasn't able to react before he got sucked in. Whoa, wait. Watching Alex disappear inside the black hole, the angel muttered. I hope you can save this dying world. Alex fell for an unknown amount of time before finally, he saw light at the bottom of the black hole. Whoosh. When he passed through the light, Alex felt air brush past him, and a whistling sound sounded in his ears. Next, in Alex's sight, he saw that he was up in the sky, rapidly falling down towards the ground. When he looked down, Alex saw a bustling town below. People were going here and there, interacting with one another. Not having the time to take a look around, Alex wasn't able to remain calm in this situation anymore. He opened his mouth and screamed on top of his lungs. Wah-ah. Involuntarily, Alex closed his eyes and only the sound of the wind brushing past his ears could be heard. But after a few seconds, even the sound of the wind disappeared and was replaced by people's voices. "Mister, how much for this apple?" "Just 2 bronze coins for you, ma'am." "Honey, bringing me here at the Fountain of Cupid is really sweet of you." Yeah, of course, honey." "Ha ha ha, try and catch me." "Stop, give me back my toy." Alex heard all kinds of conversation and at the same time, he felt something on his feet. Gathering his courage, Alex slowly opened his eyes. What he saw made him snap his eyes wide open. Wasn't I falling from the sky just a moment ago?" Alex muttered incredulously. Looking below him, Alex realized that he was standing on a brick road, much like those on the roads in ancient times. Taking a look at his surroundings, Alex saw that he seemed to be in a plaza market. Behind him, there's a small fountain with a heart-shaped design that seems to be popular with couples in this place. Beside that, you can also see various stalls selling fruits, clothes, foods, tools, etc. Looking at all this gives an impression similar to that of medieval times, and at the same time, Alex also thought of those fantasy mangas that he read in the past. This place is just like those that I see in the books. At this time, Alex has also calmed down after the confusion from before. Now his interest was piqued, and he started looking around curiously. Alex walks towards a skewer vendor on the side and sniffs the aroma of the meat exuding from the vendor's grill. "Oh, boy, would you like some orc skewer? It's not expensive, just 12 bronze coins." Chapter 3. Mutated Dungeon Master Core. "Would you like some skewers, kid?" Hearing the question of the vendor, Alex nodded his head while his eyes didn't get away from the meat in the grill. "Good, this is very cheap, only 12 bronze coins," the vendor happily said. Alex finally turned his eyes away from the grill and looked at the vendor. Scratching his head, Alex said, "Bronze coins? I don't think I ha." As he was speaking, Alex suddenly paused. The reason for that is, out of nowhere, 2 transparent screens appeared in front of his eyes. With just a glance Alex understood what it was. "So this is an inventory and the other one is my personal stats," Alex said, touching his chin thoughtfully. That's right, the screen that appeared in front of Alex is the character inventory and character info screens. Just like in games, the inventory is a 10 by 10 grid and each slot in the inventory can hold 99 of the same item. Then, at the top of the inventory is where his money can be seen. Right now, there's 1 gold coin, 1 silver coin, and 10 bronze coins in it. On the other hand, the character info screen shows the equipment Alex currently has, the amount of money that he has, and of course, his character attributes. "Well, let's take a look at my character first." Saying that, Alex turned around and walked away from the skewer stall. "Boy, where are you going? Aren't you gonna buy skewers? Boy." Behind him, the vendor called out to him a few times but Alex seems to not have heard any of it. Leaving the skewer stall, Alex walked to a bench near the fountain called the Fountain of Cupid by some of the couples nearby. Without paying attention to the couples acting lovey-dovey near him, Alex thoughtfully looked at his inventory. "I wonder what this is?" Alex muttered as he looked at the only item that is in his inventory. When the screens appeared earlier, Alex immediately noticed that in his inventory, there was actually an item that he didn't know about. It appears to be a black rock in a square shape. Curious, Alex took out the item from his inventory with his thoughts. The next moment, the black rock disappeared from his inventory and appeared on his hand. Looking at it curiously, Alex said, I wonder what this is, it looks familiar but I can't remember where I saw it." When Alex tried to look at the item description, there was only one line there that says, "Put a drop of blood to view information." Alex found it weird. Why is it that even viewing the item's info needs something like a drop of blood? In the end, Alex still decided to do as the item says. He bit the tip of his finger and squeezed a drop of blood onto the black rock. Like a sponge, the black rock absorbed the blood. The next moment, the black rock shone with dim light and started floating slowly. Without waiting for Alex to react, the black rock suddenly flew towards him and went through his forehead. The light on Alex's eyes seemed to dim at this time and he fell into a daze. Inside his head, some information that Alex did not know before appeared out of nowhere. After almost an hour passed, Alex finally regained his consciousness. Alex blinked a few times before a word came out of his mouth. Holding a skewer on his hand that he bought with the money he found in his inventory, Alex walked around the town while thinking about the information he got from the Black Rock earlier. So that is to say, this place I am in right now is a world called Altera in a dimension different from the one my Earth was in. Muttering that, Alex let out a helpless sigh at the bizarre situation he found himself in. All of this because of that Black Rock, hey. The Black Rock, which Alex has learned to be called Dungeon Master's Core, is actually a very important part of a Dungeon Master. In this world of Altera, dungeons exist where danger and riches come hand in hand. Dungeons are full of dangerous monsters and a lot of people die inside these dungeons daily. But even though it is dangerous, there are still a lot of people who enter dungeons on a regular basis all because of the promised riches inside the dungeon. Just like land and houses, dungeons also have their own owners. And those owners are called Dungeon Masters. The number of Dungeon Masters are very few and can be counted in 2 hands. That is because of the Dungeon Master's Core. Dungeon Master's Core is an item born by the universe to pick someone worthy of becoming a Dungeon Master and fused with them. Once fused, there's no more going back. Just like what happened to Alex. The Dungeon Master's Core that fused with me is a mutated one. Alex said, I just hope it's not a bad thing. Alex sighed and opened his status panel. Name, 0. Class, Assassin Dungeon Master. Level, 1. Talent, Fortune's Embodiment. Health, 100/100. Mana, 100/100. Strength, 10. Constitution, 10. Agility, 10. Intelligence, 10. Charisma, 10. Looking at his own character panel, Alex fell into contemplation. While touching his chin, Alex glanced at the new class he got before his eyes moved to the talent section. It's great that I have talent. Based on the information that I got earlier, there's only a few people with talent in this world. For me to have one as well, I'm quite lucky. Alex said with a smile. Looking at his talent, Alex focused his eyes on it to see more details. Fortune's Embodiment. Rank, S, Growth. Introduction, you are not lucky, you're fortune itself. You bring luck to those you like and misfortune to those you hate. Fortune is under your control. Details, use luck points to enter fortune state and things will always be in your favor. Luck points, 100. Alex read the description of his talent but didn't get much information. But when he saw the rank of his own talent, even Alex wasn't able to remain calm. Unconsciously, he blurted, I have an S-rank talent. Just when he said that, he immediately noticed that the people around looked at him weirdly. Realizing his mistake, Alex looked at them embarrassedly before running off somewhere. Chapter 4. S-rank talent, plans. After running for a while, Alex found an empty place that seemed to be a park and decided to rest there for a while. He sat on a relatively flat rock under a tree near a pond and rested. After catching his breath, Alex turned his attention back to his character panel. Staring at his talent, Alex has this incredible feeling inside him. I didn't expect that I would get such a high-rank talent and it's even a growth type. He murmured. From the limited information that Alex got, he learned that everything in this world is ranked, be it items, equipment, weapon, skills, and talents. From lowest to highest, the ranking is like this. E, D, C, B, A, S, SS, SSS. For some people, S rank is already considered as the highest rank because SS and SSS rank hasn't been seen for hundreds of years. Now seeing that he has an S rank talent, the joy and excitement that Alex feels right now can't be measured with words. What's even more amazing is that it's a growth type talent. That means it can grow to SS rank or even SSS rank in the future. Just the thought of it is already making Alex excited. Taking a deep breath, Alex controlled his excitement and calmed his wildly beating heart. After a while, Alex finally managed to calm himself. Phew! I got too excited just now, I should try to remain calm at all times to avoid making mistakes. He murmured. Turning his eyes back to his talent, Alex paid attention to the description again. After reading it for the second time, Alex suddenly frowned. Luck? I guess this means that I will be lucky. Alex scratched his head, the description is too vague. But since it's an S-rank talent, it should be something good. Reading the note below, he said, since it's already an S rank, which can be considered as the highest rank nowadays, I guess the probability of triggering this is quite high as well. Looking at it a few more times, Alex dismissed the panels in front of his eyes. Lying down on the rock, Alex looked at the sky above that is covered by a few leaves from the tree beside him. Dreamily, he said, I really somehow traveled to another world, hey. This experience feels very magical to Alex. In the past, he would daydream of such events happening while reading some fantasy books that he picked up from the dump site. Unbelievably, he actually got the chance to experience it in real life. Exhaling deeply, Alex sat up and looked at the small pond below. Then a smile crossed his face and he said, but thankfully, it's not permanent traveling. I can still go back to my original world whenever I want. Even though I don't have a family or anyone back there, I still want to prove to that world that even if I come from the bottom of the society, I am able to rise to the top someday. A resolute light flashed past Alex's relaxed face for a moment before disappearing. After a while, Alex heaved a sigh and got up from the rock. While patting the dust that stuck to him, Alex said, since this place can now be considered as my second world, I should make a plan on how I will proceed with things for now. Saying that, Alex randomly picked up a stick and started writing on the ground. First thing on my plan should be to create my own dungeon. But I wonder what kind of place should my dungeon become. From the core, Alex knows that any place can become a dungeon as long as a dungeon master proceeds into turning it into one. For example, caves, labyrinths, towers, prairie or just an open space that no one owns. Even a normal house, stores, or any establishments. All of that can be turned into a dungeon. The only requirement is that the place is either owned by the dungeon master or no one owns the place. My first priority has been set. Thinking for a bit, he said, this world is a pretty dangerous one based on the information I got from the core. So I guess my second priority is raising my strength. After mulling over it for a few seconds, Alex said, since I'm now a dungeon master, my strength can only increase if I focus in that direction. Just like how a magician walks the path of being a magician and a warrior walking the path of a warrior, dungeon masters should also walk on their own path. Imagine a mage acting like a warrior, fighting in the front line with a sword in hand only using brute force. Isn't that just plain stupidity? Alex continued scribbling on the ground for a while more before he finally stopped. Looking at his work on the ground, Alex nodded in satisfaction. Looks good enough, he said. Beside the first two things on his plan, 3 more things got added to his list. It was improve my livelihood in the real world, achieve my dreams, explore the world. Since Alex got an opportunity like this, of course he won't miss out on improving his life status. As someone who's been living in a scrap he called home, Alex also dreamed of getting good things. In his opinion, there are no such people out there that don't want to get good things, even if there are, maybe they just haven't seen what good things really are like. Throwing away the stick, Alex stood and patted the dust in his hands. He looked up at the now orange sky above and said, there's no time to waste, I should hurry up and realize all my plans as soon as possible. Saying that, Alex left the empty park and went back to the place where he first landed. At the Fountain of Love. Seeing the bustling streets, a smile crept up Alex's face. Clenching his fist, Alex can't help but have expectations for his future. With a gleam in his eyes, in a low voice, Alex muttered, I will stand at the top someday. Chapter 5. Maria's Diner, Dungeon Idea. Walking down the streets, Alex looked around the busy people. Everyone has this bright smile on their face, seemingly living a fulfilling life. Because of that, it inevitably made the mood around the town very light and relaxing, which is perfect for unwinding. Taking a look here and there, Alex views everything with curiosity like a kid who visited the city for the first time. Wow, this place really gives off the vibe of ancient times. It's been a long time since he got the chance to walk around without worry like this. That's why Alex is leisurely taking his time. However, Alex didn't forget his priorities. While he seems to be wandering aimlessly, Alex is actually surveying the environment in this town. The reason for doing this is to decide what form he will make his dungeon in. In fantasy novels that I read before, dungeons are usually a cave or a labyrinth. But I don't want to live inside a cave or in a labyrinth, I feel like the place will always seem dirty. With a thoughtful look, Alex continued. Anyway, dungeons only need people to go inside them to earn points, so making a dungeon inside the town is more convenient since there's a lot of people. Rubbing his chin, he said, so turning a business establishment into a dungeon is a good idea. But I wonder what business would attract a lot of people. After thinking for a while, Alex still hasn't come up with a good idea. Shaking his head, he sighed, forget it, no use thinking about it. I hope I find inspiration around here. Though, I wonder what kind of unique skill I will get once I create my dungeon. As he said those words, a flash of excitement appeared in Alex's eyes. Unique skill, just like its name, it is unique and doesn't have a duplicate. Meaning, the same skill won't appear anywhere else in the world once someone acquired it. Every dungeon master will get a unique skill once they establish their dungeon. This also serves as their path to strengthening themselves in the future. Full of ambition, Alex said, I hope I get a strong unique skill. With such thought, Alex continued wandering around while observing everything. After wandering for a few minutes, Alex stumbled upon a long line of people waiting outside of a restaurant called Maria's Diner. For there to be this many people waiting, it seems like I found a good place to eat. Alex cheerfully exclaimed. Grr. At the same time, Alex's stomach growled, sounding its hunger. Rubbing his stomach, Alex smiled wryly, because of my excitement, I almost forgot that I haven't eaten a thing yet. Well, just perfect, I found a good place. After saying that, Alex fell in line and waited patiently. After half an hour passed, it was finally Alex's turn. Standing in front of the counter, Alex was greeted by a young girl with a big smile on her face. Welcome to Maria's Diner, what would you like to eat, sir? The girl can only be said to be average in terms of looks, but because of her bright and cheerful personality, the people around her inevitably come to like her. Alex was also like them. After seeing such a bright girl, Alex's mood can't help but improve a step further. With a smile, he said, I'm new here so I don't really know what to order. Can you just give me some of your best dishes? Nodding, the girl said, yes, sir. Please sit down for now and we will bring your food to your table when it's finished. Hearing that, Alex thanked her before heading towards an empty seat. While waiting, Alex looked around, watching the other diners who seemed to be eating their food with relish and enjoyment. From their looks, it seems like the food here is really delicious, hey. However, Alex also noticed that there only seems to be a small selection of foods since almost everyone has the same food on top of their tables. But Alex didn't care about that and just waited for his food patiently. A couple of minutes later, someone brought his food to his table. Enjoy your meal, the server said before leaving to tend to other customers. Looking at the food in front of him, Alex smiled. It's finally here. Let's see what we have here. A bowl of white soup with potato and carrots, a plate of beans with tomato sauce, and a piece of bread. Alex raised an eyebrow, is this really it? This looks simple. He scanned the customer around him again and still saw them enjoying the same food with such relish. Turning his eyes back to his food, Alex said, I guess I'll just try it. He picked up his spoon and tried some of the soup. Slurp. Why does it taste so bland? Alex said with a frown. Did they give me the wrong food? Shaking his head, Alex tried out the other food and realized that they also didn't taste good. The soup and the beans both don't have much of a flavor while the bread on the other hand is hard and tastes rough. With a confused face, Alex muttered, this doesn't taste like anything I expected. But how come they look so happy eating this bland food? For Alex, eating is one of the few enjoyments in life. Even though he is poor, Alex always tries to make the best food using the limited ingredients that he has in his house. Although it's not much, it was Alex's happiness. In his own words, just because you're poor doesn't mean you have to eat bad food. Plus, eating good food will give you happiness so that the world won't seem so bleak. That is why eating good food is a matter of course to him. And now, being served such bland food made Alex really disappointed. Sighing, he observed everyone and saw that their expression doesn't seem fake. This also means one thing. This might be the highest standard of food for everyone here. When he thought of that, light flashed in Alex's eyes. I know what I will do to my dungeon. Chapter 6. 1 gold coin. Walking out of Maria's Diner, Alex has a big smile on his face. Even though the food was not great, at least it filled his hungry stomach. More than anything else, thanks to this place, Alex also got an idea on how he will proceed with his dungeon. Alex felt pumped, he said, I should look for a real estate agency or something similar to look for a place to build my dungeon. Saying that, Alex did not waste any time and started looking for an agency. After asking some passerby, Alex learned about Golden House, a well-known property seller in this town. By the way, this town he is in is called Cupido Town. A town known as the Town of Love. Anyway, Alex immediately headed towards Golden House after he heard about it. Soon, Alex is standing in front of a big white building with gold decoration almost everywhere. Is this the Golden House that they were talking about? It really is golden. Saying that, Alex slowly walked inside and was greeted by a female staff. Hello, sir, how may I help you today? I would like to look for a place suitable to turn into a restaurant. Is that so? Let me show you a few good places, sir. The girl said with a smile. The staff led Alex inside the Golden House and went into an office. Please take a seat. After Alex sat down, the staff brought a crystal ball from behind the table before she sat down opposite Alex. With a smile, she said, before we start, let me introduce myself, my name is Kara, I hope I can be of help to you today. Nodding, Alex said, I am Alex, I'm new here and will probably live here for quite some time, so, please take care of me. After the introduction, now is the time to get back to business. We have some properties saved inside this photo crystal that match with your requirements, so I'll show them to you. If you find one that you like, just tell me and I will introduce it to you. Okay. After a nod of acknowledgement from Alex, Kara touched the ball and an image suddenly appeared inside it. It was an establishment that had a luxurious feel to it and an elegant ambience covered the whole place. When Alex saw it, he immediately thought of those high-class restaurants that he saw on TV before. Because of that, Alex became interested in this property. Looking at Kara, he said, can you please tell me about this one? Hearing his request, Kara smiled, okay, sir. This is a 80 square meter establishment that was originally built as a place for gathering by Mr. Luke, son of Mr. Curtis, a merchant from the capital. But due to a problem within their family, he has to sell this place. Listening to her introduction on the place, Alex only nodded lightly and didn't really pay attention to it. After Kara finished talking, Alex asked, how much is it? In the face of a prospective buyer, the smile on Kara's face grew wider. This property is being sold for 350 gold coins. She said. It might be a little expensive, but I can assure you that you will get your money's worth if you buy this. This is because this property is located at the heart of the city, which is where the nobles go to shop. Kara said a few more words to persuade Alex into buying. On the other hand, when Alex heard the price, he took a glance at his inventory where his coins are placed. 10 bronze coins, 1 silver coins, 1 gold coin. 100 bronze coins equals 1 silver coin, 100 silver coins equals 1 gold coin. That is the total amount of money that Alex has in his pocket right now. Seeing that pitiful amount, Alex also felt a little embarrassed. I dared to ask the price for such an expensive place. I should have taken a look at my budget before I headed here. Alex sighs and shakes his head at his mistake. Recollecting his thoughts, Alex looked at Kara and said, let's forget about this kind of expensive property for now. Hearing that, disappointment flashed through Kara's eyes for a second before it disappeared as if it was never there to begin with. With the same smile as before, she said, that's all right, sir. Can you please tell me about your budget? Rubbing his chin, Alex acted nonchalant and replied, since I'm just starting out, let's say, 1 gold coin. Putting on a playful smile, he said, give me a property worth 1 gold coin, can you do that? Seeing Alex's current appearance, Kara was stunned. For some reason, the way Alex is acting right now gives the illusion of a rich man wanting to try out the world at the bottom. Kara is not unfamiliar with those kinds of people. In truth, she has already met a lot of those kinds. Acting like a poor person just for the sake of their entertainment. The thing that Kara likes about these types of people is that, after they finish their playing, they come back to her and give some generous tip. Thinking back to those days, Kara remembered the days where her pocket was full and couldn't help but become excited. After she recovered from her dazed state, Kara hurriedly nodded her head. Full of enthusiasm, she said, 1 gold coin? Don't worry, sir, I will look for what fits your requirements. Without giving Alex a chance to reply, Kara stood up and started to look for new properties. Seeing her movements, it was Alex's turn to get stunned. He was speechless. He was just trying to act nonchalant to hide his embarrassment, but for some reason, Kara became a lot more enthusiastic in serving him. Puzzled, he thought, isn't she mad that the property I want to buy is only 1 gold coin? If Alex learned that his previous behavior of acting playful and nonchalant would be misunderstood by Kara, he would probably fall into silence. Chapter 7. Time to go to school. Soon, Kara came back with another crystal ball in her hand. After she sat down, she said, "Mr. Alex, I found a good property worth 1 gold coin like you requested." Hearing that, Alex's eyes lit up. "Show it to me." After a nod, Kara touched the crystal ball just like before and an old wooden building appeared inside the ball. "Since Mr. Alex plans to turn the property into a restaurant, I tried looking for a property with a big space that can accommodate a lot of people. Here is an image of a 3-story building that has quite an amount of space which I think is suitable for turning into a restaurant." Alex inspected the building while listening to Kara on the side. Alex nodded in satisfaction as he looked at the building in the crystal. Seeing that expression on Alex's face, Kara heaved a sigh of relief. Then suddenly, hesitation appeared on her face. Noticing that, Alex raised an eyebrow. Is there something you want to say?" After a moment of hesitation, Kara finally spoke. "Actually, this property is located at the outer layer of the town, so it's not a good location to build a restaurant. Also," she paused for a bit before continuing, "it's just a short distance away from slums where law and order is a bit problematic, so." Kara didn't finish her words, but Alex understood what she wanted to say. At the end of her words, Kara raised her head and took a peek at Alex's expression. She saw that Alex had a thoughtful look on his face, rubbing his chin. Seeing him like that, Kara didn't dare let out a sound, afraid that she would disturb Alex. A couple seconds later, Alex opened his mouth and said, "I've decided, I'll take this one." Surprise flashed across Kara's face when she heard that. "Really? But it's near the slums." Alex waved his hand dismissively. "It doesn't matter," he said, "whether it's near the slums or the noble district, it doesn't matter to me. As long as there's people around that can enter my dungeon, that's the only thing that matters to me." Alex silently said the latter part in his heart. Getting Alex's confirmation, a smile bloomed on Kara's face. She stood up and said, "Then I'll process the documents for the property immediately, sir." Alex nodded and Kara headed off to complete the purchase of the property. 10 minutes later, Kara came back with a paper document and handed it to Alex. "Mr. Alex, I have already finished the other process for the purchase. To complete it, all you have to do is sign on this paper." Alex picked up the paper and scanned it. After seeing that there was no problem with it, Alex picked up the pen and signed his name at the bottom of the paper. When Alex put down the pen, Kara stretched out her hand towards him and said, "Congratulations for your purchase, Mr. Alex. I hope you continue patronizing our property agency." Taking her hands, Alex shook it. "I will come back if I have the opportunity." After that, the two exchanged a few pleasantries before Alex finally left the Golden House. When Alex got out of the Golden House, it's already dark outside. Looking at the clear starry sky above, Alex sighed, "I didn't notice that I spent too much time just purchasing a property. I guess I put off heading to the property location for now. I'll head back home first." Exiting the Golden House's premises, Alex looked for a place with no one around and finally decided to go to a nearby alley. What he didn't notice was, after he left Golden House, a few thugs not far away started following him with malicious intention. But when they arrived at the alley that Alex went to, they saw no one but a dead end ahead. "Huh? Where did that kid go?" the thugs wondered. After searching around for a bit, in the end, they found not even a trace of Alex and can only go back to their previous location. Earth. Alex's house. It was silent and peaceful as if the world was in harmony. But this didn't last for long. On the empty sofa, the figure of Alex suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Looking at the familiar wall and decorations, Alex sighed. "Phew, I'm really back." Feeling the comfort of his own home, Alex relaxed. He remained sitting on the sofa for a while before finally getting up and jumping to the bathroom. After he got out of the bath, Alex casually cooked some dinner before heading to bed. Laying down on his old moldy bed, Alex stared in space in a daze. "Everything that I experienced today feels so magical," he muttered. Even now, Alex still can't believe that all the things that just happened were real. After relishing the things that he experienced for a while, Alex finally drifted off to sleep. A calm night passed without any signs of disturbance. The next day, Monday, Alex woke up early and is preparing to go to school. Alex is still studying and is a senior high school in his last year. If everything goes according to his original life trajectory, Alex will graduate from high school this year and find a normal job in the city. Since he's incapable of sending himself to college, going there has never crossed his mind. As for scholarships? Well, let's just say that Alex is not really one that excels in academics. So, that path is not really open for Alex to go to. However, now, Alex doesn't have to worry about these things. All because of the alternate dimension. In that place, Alex could grow to an unimaginable level and become someone who stands at the top. That's why, at this time, Alex felt a little more relaxed. Anyway, Alex finished all his preparations and has also eaten his breakfast. And so, it's now about time for him to head out. Chapter 8. Fortune State. As the sound of the school bell rang, students rushed into their respective class in a hurry. Inside the classroom of Class 12B, Alex scribbles on his notebook as they wait for the class teacher. After a while, the science teacher entered the classroom with stacks of paper in her hands. The students stood up and greeted the teacher before they sat back down. The science teacher, Ms. Gonzalez, looked at everyone with serious eyes and said, "Okay, class, today we will be having a surprise quiz to see just how much everyone learned so far." Hearing that, the students voiced their complaints. A quiz? How am I going to answer that? Bro, did you study? No, bro, I just played games the whole week. Ugh, a quiz again. Even though they said all kinds of things, everyone still took out their paper and pens obediently. Alex, who was sitting at the back of the class, was also in a dilemma at this time. With a frown, he muttered, "Damn, I just used my time to go to the garbage dump these past few weeks, I can't even remember the topic of discussion last time." As if noticing his problem, Chris, his seatmate, looked at him and said, "What's the matter, Alex? You did not study again?" Sighing, Alex replied, "Yeah, I was busy trying to earn money this past week, that's why I didn't really get time to study." Chris is the closest friend that Alex has. Although it's not on the level of best friends, they still hang out sometimes when Alex is free, so they have quite some friendship. Since Alex is poor and doesn't have parents, most of the other kids stay away from him for some reason. Maybe it's because of his white uniform that has long since turned yellow because of age. Or maybe that's just how people are, unfriendly to the poor. But still, there are a few exceptions, and that is Chris. When Chris heard his answer, she sighed and said, "This is why I keep telling you to go work for my dad's company." Chris is from a well-off family. Although it's not the super rich type, it's still much better than 90% of the people in Pearl City. That's why her being so approachable is very surprising. When Chris brought up the topic of working for her dad, Alex stopped talking and acted as if he didn't hear anything. Seeing that, Chris could only sigh. This is always how Alex reacts when she talks about this topic, and she's already used to it. When every student finally got a questionnaire for the quiz, Ms. Gonzalez told them to start answering. Alex stared at his paper with confused eyes as he scratched his head. "Ugh, even though the first question is something that I can't answer, how am I supposed to finish this whole set?" he murmured. At this time, Alex caught sight of a dice in the hands of his classmate at the corner of his eyes and suddenly got an idea. "I will leave it up to luck." Alex immediately opened the talent page on his character panel. Fortune's embodiment. Rank, S, growth. Introduction: you are not lucky, you're fortune itself. You bring luck to those you like and misfortune to those you hate. Fortune is under your control. Details: use luck points to enter fortune state and things will always be in your favor. Luck points, 100. Seeing the 100 luck points that he has, Alex smiled. This will do. Without hesitation, Alex used his luck points and entered the fortune state. Immediately, Alex felt refreshed, as if everything in the world was within his grasp. Alex looked at himself and at his surroundings. He saw that there doesn't seem to be anything that changed. But only he knows that right now, he has embodied the fortune itself. At this time, Alex's luck points also started decreasing. From the way it looks, every second consumes 1 luck point, so right now, Alex can only last in this state for 100 seconds. Knowing that, Alex didn't want to waste any more time and turned his attention to his test questionnaire. Without bothering to read the questions, Alex started answering. Since the quiz is composed of 50 multiple-choice questions, all he has to do is randomly pick an answer and move on to the next. Not long after, Alex put down his pen and turned off his fortune state. Then he looked at his paper and smiled. Done, as easy as that. Meanwhile, Chris on the side has been watching him the whole time. Seeing the satisfied smile on Alex's face, Chris felt speechless. She was about to open her mouth and say something, but in the end, she shook her head and just focused on her own paper. After he finished looking at his paper in satisfaction, he turned his own eyes to his remaining luck points. Luck points, 27. Sigh, even though I tried to finish it as fast as I can, 73 luck points were still consumed. Alex said in distress. Currently, the number of luck points is limited and Alex still has no clue as to where he can get more points. That's why seeing it decrease by this much, he felt a little pain in his heart. Shaking his head, he said, "Forget it, at least I got through this quiz. I just don't know how much score I will get." With nothing else to do, Alex lay his head down on his table and closed his eyes. Soon, an hour has passed in a blink of an eye. Ms. Gonzalez stood in front of the class and said, "Okay, class, put down your pen and pass your papers." Finishing the quiz, everyone felt relieved and obediently handed their papers. After getting all the papers, Ms. Gonzalez grabbed her things and said, "I will check your papers later and give them back tomorrow. Now, see you tomorrow. Goodbye, Ms. Gonzalez." After she left, the next teacher entered and class proceeded as usual. The day passed normally and soon the last for today has finished. After packing his things, Alex hung his bag on his shoulder and headed to the door. "Alex, wait." But before he left, Chris hurried towards him. Is there something? Let's leave together." Alex agreed and they went out while chatting about some random topics. Chapter 9. Unique Skill, Sacrifice. Under the orange glow of the setting sun, students walked out of the school gate with their friends while chatting. Alex and Chris also left the school and are now walking in the direction of Alex's house. "Are you really planning to follow me to my house?" Alex asked while looking at Chris with furrowed brows. "Yeah, why, you won't allow me?" Chris asked with a fierce look on her face. Shaking his head, Alex replied, "No, I was just wondering why a rich girl like you seems so interested in my dilapidated house. Isn't it because I want to know more about my friend?" Chris said as if it was a matter of fact. Hearing that, Alex did not linger on the topic anymore. The two chatted about topics that people their age usually talk about, such as games, shows, gossip, etc. Mostly, it was just Chris who talks while Alex just listens to her. After walking for less than 10 minutes, Alex's house finally came into view. Walking for a little more, they arrived at the house without any problem. It was hot outside," Chris said before taking a seat at the sofa nearby. Alex glanced at her, fanning herself with her hand and asked, "Do you want some water?" "Yes, please." Alex grabbed 2 glasses of cold water and also opened the only electric fan in his house, pointing it to Chris. Feeling the cool air, Chris closed her eyes and enjoyed it. That's much better." Alex handed her the glass of water before sitting down on another chair not far away. "So this is your house, hey?" Chris said, observing the small house while sipping some cold water. Alex nodded, "Yeah, I apologize if it looks dirty and small." Chris hurriedly shook her head, "No. Actually, your house is very clean and to be honest, I would prefer a smaller house rather than a big house." When she said that, there was a hint of sadness on her face. Alex looked at her for a while without saying anything and silence permeated the atmosphere. In the end, Alex let out a carefree smile and said, "Is that so? Since it's like that, you can visit here anytime, you're welcome to my house." Chris' eyes lit up with excitement, "Really? Then don't mind if I do. I'll probably visit you every day if I can." The sadness on her face disappeared and was replaced by a beaming smile that seems to brighten up the surroundings. Just make sure not to damage anything. Everything here is precious to me." A serious look covered Chris' face and she said, "Don't worry, I won't." After that, the two chatted for quite some time before Chris finally decided to go home. At the doorway, Alex stood, watching Chris walk towards a black car that appeared unknowingly a while ago. "Bye, Alex, it was nice that you brought me to your house. I will visit again. See you tomorrow," Chris said, waving her hands at Alex before boarding inside the car. Alex also waved his hands at her for a while until the car disappeared into the distance. Watching the car disappear in sight, Alex smiled, "Now that she's gone, it's now time for me to go to Cupido Town." Turning around, Alex went back inside his house. Then with a thought, he disappeared magically. When he appeared again, he found himself in the alley that he disappeared to yesterday. "I really appeared where I was last located yesterday. Since it's like this, I should only travel through dimensions in a safe location. That way, it will be safer for me. While thinking of that, Alex left the alley. What he didn't know is that a few thugs from yesterday have been watching the alley where he left since he disappeared last time. One of the thugs squinted his eyes while looking at Alex, who left the alley. Just like we thought, that guy appeared again in that alley. Another thug, who seems to be his lackey, asked, "Boss, what should we do now?" "What else?" "Of course, you should follow him." "Okay, boss." Hearing that, the lackey and a few other thugs left, going towards the direction Alex went. Walking down the streets, Alex is heading to the property that he bought yesterday. Since it was near the slums, the property is not far away from the outer gate of the city. But since the Golden House is located near the center of the city, it took Alex 15 minutes of walking before he arrived at the location. "I'm finally here." Looking at the old building in front of him, Alex can't help but let out a sigh. It looks just like the image shown in the photo crystal. After looking at it for a while outside, Alex entered inside the building. When he did so, an alarm suddenly sounded in his head and a screen interface appeared in front of his eyes. Ding! Hint: you have entered into your territory, old building. Would you like to designate it as your dungeon? Yes/no. Seeing the screen in front of him, Alex smiled and pressed yes without hesitation. Suddenly, the old 3-story building glowed with light. From the outside, since the sun is still out at this time, the light emitted by the building wasn't obvious. After the light died down, another notification sounded in Alex's head. Hint: congratulations, you acquired the unique skill Sacrifice. Seeing that, Alex was suddenly filled with excitement. But before he even got the chance to celebrate, the screen changed again and a similar panel to the attribute screen appeared. Owner: 0. Dungeon: old building. Level: 1. Residence: 1, 0. Dungeon points: 0. Alex looked at all this with a big smile plastered on his face. Finally, I got my most awaited unique skill. I can't wait to see what it can do. Saying that, Alex hurriedly opened his attribute panel to view the details of his new skill, Sacrifice. Chapter 10. Lucky Dungeon. Just when Alex was about to explore more about his new skill, a new panel appeared in front of him. Hint: please designate a location to place the dungeon core. Oh, I almost forgot. Because of his excitement, Alex forgot the most important thing that a dungeon master has to do. Placing the dungeon core. The dungeon core is the heart of the dungeon and also the second heart of a dungeon master, so they consider it more important than their real heart. That is because, if a dungeon master dies, they can resurrect after some time as long as their dungeon core is safe. But if the dungeon core is destroyed, the dungeon master will also die even if he didn't receive any damage from the enemy. For that reason, placing the dungeon core in the most secure and the safest location is a must. Putting traps and countless monsters on the path towards the core is usually what the dungeon masters do to protect it from intruders or enemies. Originally, Alex planned to place the dungeon core at the top floor, thinking that it was the safest place in this building. But when he looked at the panel that shows where he can place the dungeon core, he saw something that surprised him. How is this possible? He whispered to himself. On the panel, the whole outline of the building, its floor plan and everything else are shown to Alex. Just like how it looked, it's just a normal 3-story old building. The real reason for his surprise is that, beside the map of the old building, a humanoid figure was being shown as a possible location to place the dungeon core. Wait, is this me? After looking carefully at the figure, Alex can vaguely feel that it was him. Does this mean that I can put the dungeon core inside my body? Suddenly, a thoughtful look appeared on Alex's face. Normally, dungeon masters can only place their dungeon cores inside the dungeon. That's the rule of this dimension for dungeon masters. Because of this, dungeon masters are not able to leave their dungeon for fear that an intruder will suddenly break their core. For this reason, dungeon masters can't explore the world outside their dungeons and look for ways to strengthen themselves. This is the limitation that's been placed on such a powerful class by the dimension itself. After saying that, Alex's eyes landed back on the figure on the panel and a smile slowly crept up his lips. But now, here I am, bypassing that restriction placed by the world on dungeon masters. Alex stopped dilly-dallying and used his thought to designate a place for the dungeon core. Just as he did that, suddenly, a soft golden light lit up from Alex's chest. After 3 seconds, the light died down and Alex felt that there was something inside his chest right beside his heart. But instead of being worried, a smile appeared on Alex's face. The core really went inside my body. Then, another system panel appeared in Alex's eyes. Congratulations, you have established your dungeon. Please name your dungeon. Seeing that, Alex thought for a while and said, Lucky Dungeon. Ding! You have successfully named your dungeon as Lucky Dungeon. Dungeon menu is now fully unlocked. Joyfully, Alex said, with this, I am now officially a dungeon master. Opening the dungeon menu, a new panel appeared in front of Alex. Dungeon menu. Name, Lucky Dungeon. Level, LV1. Owner, 0. Dungeon skills, Dungeon Monitor, Inspect. Dungeon points, 0. Alex explored the menu for a while and come to understand it. Dungeon Monitor and Inspect are basic skills that all newbie dungeon masters will have on their dungeon. Dungeon Monitor lets the dungeon masters view any part of their dungeon with ease. Inspect, view the information of anything as long as it's within the dungeon. Seeing that, there was no surprise on Alex. I got the basic dungeon skills just like I should. Next, I should upgrade my dungeon's level to unlock more skills that are unique to my dungeon. Alex can't but have a little anticipation at the thought. After that, Alex immediately opened his personal panel and saw the new unique skill that he got. Hurriedly, he tapped it to view its details. Sacrifice, gain free attribute points by sacrificing the body of the enemies you kill. The higher the level of the enemy, the more free attributes you can get. Reading the information shown on the screen, Alex was stunned. There's no need to explain, this is a super strong skill. Having such a skill, its user can have the strength that far surpasses their own level. Damn, I hit the jackpot. Alex started jumping around in happiness and excitement. A few minutes later, Alex managed to regain his composure. I got too excited just now. He muttered. After Alex took a look at his skill sacrifice, he decided to take a look around his own dungeon. Since there is nothing on the first floor, Alex went directly to the second floor. However, just as he stepped foot on the second floor, an alarm suddenly sounded inside his head. Warning! An enemy has entered the dungeon. When Alex heard that, his eyes narrowed. I know that Kara said that this is near the slums and the law and order around here is chaotic, but I didn't expect that someone would come so soon. Next, Alex opened the dungeon monitor to see who dares to enter his dungeon. When the screen appeared in his eyes, Alex saw 3 men who had an arrogant demeanor on the first floor of the building. They were the lackeys sent by the thug to follow Alex near the alley. At this time, the person on the lead looked back at the other 2 and whispered in a low voice, "Try not to make a sound, we will sneak in and catch that man by surprise." Okay. The other 2 nodded. The 3 slowly walked around with their toes tipping on the ground like ballerinas, trying to remain quiet. Looking at all this, Alex found it amusing and even funny. He watched them for a while before deciding to stop wasting time. I still have something to do today, I should stop dilly-dallying here. Saying that, Alex casted Inspect on the 3 to see their identities. Chapter 11. Level Up. Using Inspect, the data of the 3 lackeys appeared in front of Alex. Name, Ben. Title, Thug. Level, 4. Strength, 17. Constitution, 15. Agility, 13. Intelligence, 12. Name, Robert. Title, Thug. Level, 2. Strength, 12. Constitution, 12. Agility, 11. Intelligence, 10. Name, John. Title, Thug. Level, 2. Strength, 11. Constitution, 13. Agility, 11. Intelligence, 10. Titles, Thug, are not their class, that's something that shows their identity. Looking at the data, Alex saw that they only have the 4 types of attribute unlike him who has 5. Alex knows that this is normal. People of this world only have these 4 attributes, only by doing certain things can they unlock additional attributes such as Alex's charm attribute. When a person levels up, they will have 5 free attribute points that they can distribute freely. But that is only if you have a basic class like warrior, magician, healer, etc. A dungeon master like Alex will get 20 free attribute points every time he levels up. Beside dungeon master, there's a lot more classes such as dragon rider, druid, berserker, etc. Anyway, Alex looked at their data and concluded that they are small fries. However, even though they are just weaklings, they are still more than enough to kill a level 1 noob like him. What should I do? Propping his hands on his chin, Alex started thinking of ways to get rid of these thugs. Looking around the second floor for something he can use. After looking for a while, Alex didn't find anything he could use. However, he found something much more interesting on the second floor. Staring at the floor attentively, Alex noticed something. A wooden plank at the corner of the second floor looks a little more worn out than the other planks that make out the floor. It was as if that certain plank had been touched frequently for some reason. Curiously, Alex walked towards it and knocked the wooden floor. Talk talk talk. Hearing the hollow sounds from it, Alex's eyes lit up. It seems like there's an empty space under this floor. Thinking of that, Alex immediately thought that this might be a hidden compartment. Hurriedly, he started looking for a way to open it up. A few seconds later, Alex successfully removed the wood covering the space below. But when he saw what was in the compartment, Alex let out a confused sound. Hey? How could something like this be here? A pistol was actually hidden under the floorboard. Picking it up, Alex carefully scrutinized the pistol. Then with a surprised look on his face, he said, "It's really a real pistol." At the same time, Alex is also feeling shocked and confused. How could a modern item like this appear in this place? This is obviously a fantasy setting world. With questions appearing in his mind one after another, Alex decided to suppress all this for now. He turned his attention back to the pistol and used inspect on it. Pistol. Properties, plus 100 damage. Details, an item from modern times in another dimension. Brought to this world through unknown means. Looking at the simple data in front of his eyes, Alex frowned. With this, there is no doubt that this item was really not from this world. That means, someone has also come to this world before me. Thinking of that, Alex became curious about this person that has been censored in the details. Shaking his head, Alex cleared up his head and said, "This is not the time that I should be thinking of this. Right now, the 3 thugs are still inside the building and looking for him. At this time, they are already about to take a step up the stairs to look at the second floor where Alex is currently in." Looking at the gun on his hand, Alex said, "I can use this. I hope this will be enough to get rid of those thugs." Saying that, Alex checked how many bullets this gun has. 5 bullets. That's more than enough to take down those people downstairs. As for him, a newbie, successfully shooting people with a gun? Well, let's just leave it all up to luck. Immediately, Alex started making a move. The thugs are already climbing up the stairs now. To not startle them, Alex silently moved towards the side of the stairs, a blind spot for those going up. Patiently, Alex waited for the thugs to arrive. He didn't have to wait long and the thugs soon appeared in his sight. Alex can even hear them whispering to each other. "Ben, are you sure we won't get caught if we just go like this?" Ben, who's the one leading, turned his head and looked at John. "Don't worry, we've been quiet this whole time, he won't notice us." "That's right, John, you're just being cowardly." Robert chimed in. Hearing that, John decided to not say anything more and just followed Ben honestly. What can he do? Ben is more powerful than him after all, so he can only shut his mouth and follow. The 3 continued walking up the stairs silently, oblivious to the fact that they are already being stared at by Alex. Alex readied himself, pointing his gun at John, who's at the very back of the group. Taking a deep breath, Alex focused on his target. He started counting silently in his heart. 3, 2, 1. With a thought, Alex turned on the fortune state and his luck points started decreasing once again. Bang! Without hesitation, Alex fired his gun at the thug. Boom! The bullet accurately hit the head of the thug named John. Without resistance, the bullet entered his head, reaching his brain. Like a puppet without a string, his body fell down and rolled down the stairs. Just like that, John died. "You killed the thug, John, you got 50 experience points." Robert and Ben turned to look at the fallen John and weren't able to react immediately. What happened? How could John, who's still lively just a moment ago, be on the ground now with a hole in his head? Taking advantage of their confusion, Alex did not stop and pointed his gun at the stunned Robert. Bang! Boom! This time, Robert's chest was hit, killing him. "You killed the thug, Robert, you receive 50 experience points. Congratulations, you leveled up." Chapter 12. Dawn? Blade Gang? Congratulations, you leveled up. Congratulations, you acquired the exclusive class skill Monster Manipulation. Congratulations, you acquired the exclusive class skill Lord's Sanctuary. Alex did not pay attention to the notification and put all his focus on his goal. He wants to get rid of all the thugs in one go. But some things just won't work like how we want it to. With the consecutive killing, Ben has already recovered from the surprise. At this time, he has already noticed Alex with a strange weapon on his hand aiming at him. Shit! Ben cursed with an ugly look on his face. Hurriedly, Ben rolled down the stairs to get away from Alex, trying to stay out of Alex's sight. He has already seen what that weapon did to John and Robert, he doesn't want to die like them. Rolling down the stairs didn't cause any damage to a level 4 like Ben. After he fell down on the first floor, Ben immediately stood up and ran towards the door. At this time, Alex also reacted. I won't allow you to escape. Holding on to the stair railings, Alex tried to jump. But suddenly, his feet slipped on the floor and he almost fell down to the ground. Whoa! Luckily, he managed to hold tightly onto the railings and keep himself standing. Only, he subconsciously let go of the gun on his hand, causing it to fall on the stairs. Seeing this, Alex frowned, damn, how am I gonna catch that thug now? But then, something unexpected happened. When the gun hit the ground, the trigger got pulled and a loud bang sounded. Followed by the scream of Ben downstairs. Ah! Alex was stunned by the sudden scream. Hurriedly, Alex ran down the stairs to see what happened. What he saw when he went down was Ben lying on the ground, blood flowing out of his knees. Alex looked at Ben, then looked at the gun on the floor and thought of something. My luck talent is too awesome, he said while also feeling shock in his heart. At the same time, he did not forget to turn off the fortune state to avoid wasting luck points. Every second is a precious luck point getting wasted after all. Thinking of that, Alex took a look at his luck points. Luck points, 26. How is that possible? Why did it only decrease by 1 point? Alex muttered. Clearly, more than 1 second has passed since he turned on the fortune state. Maybe around 3 seconds. Alex was confused, however, he doesn't have the time to think about that right now. Turning his eyes back to the bloodied figure in front of him, Alex's face turned cold. Picking up the gun, Alex approached Ben. Ben is gritting his teeth, enduring the intense pain coming from his knee. He looked at Alex with a ferocious expression but did not say anything. Seeing that, Alex stopped right in front of him. He coldly said, "Tell me, who the hell are you people to trespass into my property?" As someone who grew up in hardship, fighting for everything, even just for his right to live, Alex has learned to be tougher than everyone. That's why when these thugs entered his place this time, Alex's first response was to get rid of them instead of talking to them. Of course, Alex wouldn't kill if this was in the original world. But right now, he is in a dangerous world where monsters are everywhere. In this world, human rights aren't well established. Such things as slavery exist in this world. Thugs like these guys will usually kill innocent people and still be able to roam around the town because of the public order of this place. That's also why Alex doesn't have any scruples about ending their lives. Now standing in front of Ben, looking down on his bloody figure, Alex stared at him as if he's a dead man. Seeing that, Ben felt a chill run down his spine. Wait, please, I'll tell you, just don't kill me. Ben immediately started begging for his life. Speak. Alex said coldly. With a painful look on his face, Ben said, "It's Don, he's the leader of Blade Gang in this town." Ugh, hiss. At the end of his words, the pain seems to have heightened, causing Ben to take a deep breath. Alex did not bother to look at the pained expression on Ben's face. He narrowed his eyes and said, "Don? Blade Gang? I don't know him, why would he order people to come to me?" Afraid that he will anger Alex, Ben immediately answered, "That, he saw you yesterday come out from Golden House, that's why he thought you were rich. That's why he told us to follow you." At this time, a lot of blood has already leaked out of his body. His complexion turned pale and he looks like he will pass out any second now. He looked at Alex and said, "Please, don't kill me." Alex turned his gaze to Ben with a thoughtful look. Right now, he is alone in this world. Since he's planning to open a restaurant within the dungeon, he can't be the only one to do everything, right? That's why, maybe taking in someone he can order around is a good idea. Thinking of that, Alex said, "Okay, I won't kill you. However, from now on, you have to serve me for the rest of your life." Hearing the first half of Alex's words, Ben's face seems to brighten up for a second. But when Alex said the latter half, the smile on his face went stiff. Noticing his reaction, Alex showed a cold smile. "What, don't want to?" "And no, I want, ugh." Ben immediately shook his head even though he was feeling weak. However, because of him forcing himself too much, blood started spurting out once again. In the end, Ben passed out from lack of blood. Looking at that, Alex said, "Good, now I have a subordinate of my own." Chapter 13. Earning luck points. Alex looked at the still bleeding Ben and sighed. "I guess, I should stop the bleeding of his wound first, or else, my newly obtained subordinate might end up dying because of me." Just as Alex was about to go and look for some clean cloth, he noticed something on the bullet wound on Ben's knee. The bleeding wound suddenly started healing, visible to the naked eye. Ding! The bullet that was still inside was pushed out by the healing flesh and fell on the floor. In just less than 10 seconds, Alex saw the wound close up as if it was never there to begin with. With curious eyes, Alex examined Ben for abnormalities but saw that there was nothing wrong. How did his wound heal just like that? Alex wondered. After finding no answer to his question, Alex decided to drop it. Next, Alex called his character panel. Name, 0. Class, Dungeon Master. Level, 2. Talent, Fortune's Embodiment. Health, 200/200. Mana, 150/150. Strength, 10. Constitution, 10. Agility, 10. Intelligence, 10. Charisma, 10. Free attributes, 20. Skills, Sacrifice, U, Monster Manipulation, A, Lord's Sanctuary, A. Seeing the few changes on his panel, Alex smiled. "I didn't expect that I would be able to increase my level just like that. This is all thanks to these trespassing thugs," Alex said as if killing those guys was a trivial matter. "Forget that, I should distribute my free attributes first." Alex thought about it for a while and decided to put 8 points on intelligence, 5 points on strength, 5 points on constitution, and lastly 2 points on agility. The reason why he put most of his points on intelligence was because it can enhance his mind and help him in a lot of things in life. At the same time, it is also related to his magical capabilities such as mana, magic power, etc. Based on his understanding of dungeon masters, most of them are like mages and their intelligence is the most important attribute of them. Of course, this is not absolute. Dungeon master can be like warriors or archers. It is all up to the path they take. And for Alex, the magical path seems to be the most powerful. Anyway, in his opinion, this seems to be the most efficient distribution he can think of at the moment. After adding his attribute points, Alex turned his attention to his newly acquired skills. Monster Manipulation, A. Manipulate monsters to your desire and put them under your control. The control can last as long as you don't cancel it. Note that if the target is stronger than you, there's a high probability that the skill will fail. Consumption, 20 mana. Lord's Sanctuary, A. Within 10 meters of the user, form a permanent domain that can heal and buff allies' attributes by 50%. Consumption, none. After reading the skill descriptions, Alex realized how Ben's wound suddenly healed. Oh, it wasn't because Ben had something that healed him, but it was this Lord's Sanctuary that healed his wound. Alex said while nodding slowly with an enlightened look. That's one question down. Now then, for the thing earlier. Alex looked at his luck points on his panel. Luck points, 26. I really did not see it wrong. It was still 26. If I guess correctly, I used Fortune State for about 3 seconds. Alex thought about the 2 thugs that he just killed upstairs and he suddenly got an idea. 2 points were added and the only thing I did differently from normal was getting rid of those 2 thugs. With bright eyes, he said, "Is that how I can gain more luck points?" Thinking of this, Alex can't help but start getting excited. Did I finally discover how I can gain more luck points? He muttered. Just earlier, Alex discovered just how amazing his luck points are when he was going against those thugs. Even though it was his first time holding a gun, he managed to one-hit kill 2 thugs and stop another one from escaping. And all of that was thanks to luck. If it wasn't because of luck, even hitting his targets was questionable. Anyway, now that he learned a way to earn more luck points, Alex can't wait to try it and get more. But when he looked through the window, he saw that it was already dark outside. Alex sighed with a tinge of disappointment. Highs, because of these guys, I didn't get to try out if my thought is correct or not. But after thinking about it, it was because of them that he learned a way to get more luck points that he was clueless about before. Shaking his head, he said, "Forget it, I can just try it out tomorrow anyway. For now, it's about time I go back home." Saying that, Alex stood up and was about to go when he saw the figure of Ben sprawled on the ground. "Oh right, I still have to clean these guys up." Saying that, Alex grabbed Ben on his feet and dragged on a corner to let him sleep there. After fixing Ben, Alex went upstairs to clean up the body of the other two. Looking at the gruesome figure of two dead people, Alex didn't seem to feel anything and looked the same as usual. "Highs, how am I gonna get rid of these?" Putting his hand on his chin, Alex thought for a while and finally got an idea. "This is a good chance to try out my sacrifice skill, right?" When that thought came to his head, Alex's eyes lit up. Immediately, Alex used sacrifice and designated the two dead bodies as the targets. The next moment, the dead bodies of John and Robert lit up before disappearing out of thin air. Then, a notification appeared in front of his eyes. "You used the skill sacrifice, you earned 10 attribute points." Seeing that, a smile involuntarily crept up his face. "I really got an amazing unique skill." Chapter 14. Missing Students. While Alex appreciated his unique skill once more, he distributed his free attribute points. Now, this is what his attributes looks like. Name, 0. Class, Dungeon Master. Level, 2. Talent, Fortune's Embodiment. Health, 200/200. Mana, 150/150. Strength, 16. Constitution, 16. Agility, 13. Intelligence, 19. Charisma, 16. Free attributes, 0. Skills, Sacrifice, U, Monster Manipulation, A, Lord's Sanctuary, A. Alex added most of the new attribute points to Charisma because it is a fundamental attribute of a Dungeon Master. Charisma can make people follow or worship you. If it is high enough, people will remain loyal to you with no chance of betrayal. That's why it is a very important attribute for leaders such as kings, presidents, captains, etc. And just like kings, a Dungeon Master is also a type of leader. Most of them use monsters as their subordinates to protect the dungeon from intruders. That's why Charisma is also important for them. Anyway, after Alex distributed his points, he decided to go back to Earth for now and get some rest. With a thought, Alex disappeared from the dungeon. When he appeared again, he was already back at his house on Earth. "Ugh, I'm back." Puff. Alex sat down on the sofa and rested for a while. Staring at the ceiling, Alex said, "I really killed someone, hey." Even though he might seem to be acting casual and cold earlier, Alex is still affected by the fact that he killed someone. After all, he was just a normal kid who fought for the chance to live in the dumpsite until yesterday. He's not some cold-blooded killer who will never be affected no matter how many people he kills. But maybe it's because everything about the other world feels magical and unreal, like a game that you play on a computer screen. That Alex was not really affected heavily, that it will put some trauma on him or something. Maybe in his subconscious, he was treating that world as just a game. Anyway, for now, it doesn't matter. After Alex got enough rest, he stood up from the sofa. "I wanna rest early today. I'll go eat something and head to bed," Alex said. He went to the kitchen and cooked something before heading to the bathroom to take a shower. After all that, he went to his room and fell down on his bed. Soon, the sound of his snores, accompanied by the crickets, are the only sound that could be heard around. The next day, Alex woke up early and ate his breakfast while watching news on TV. He slowly finished his food and washed the dishes before preparing his things for school. At this time, a news report caught his attention as it was about Pearl City. 23 high school students have been reported missing since last week, August 15, at Pearl City. Until now, none of them has been found, but the police are already investigating the case and they assured the relatives of the missing students that they will never stop looking for them. On another news. Missing students? They have been missing since August 15, so it's been 9 days. Are they even still alive? Alex wondered. Alex did not really feel much from this news since it's not really affecting him. But soon he will be involved with this news that he didn't care about. After he packed his things for school, Alex left the house and walked towards the school. 10 minutes later, Alex arrived at school with a lot of time to spare. At this time, there's only a few people in the classroom and most of them are sleeping on their desks. Sitting on his seat, Alex greeted Chris, who's reading a book on the side. "Morning, Chris." "Morning, Alex." Looking at the book on Chris' hand, Alex asked, "What are you reading?" "I'm just reviewing, in case we have some quizzes later." Chris said. He turned her book to Alex to let him see it for a bit before continuing reading. That's just like you," said Alex. After that, he ignored Chris and lay down on his desk just like the others. But after a few minutes, Alex suddenly sat up, took out a math book and started reading it attentively. Chris looked at Alex with a face full of surprise. "Is the world ending? How come this guy who usually doesn't open his book suddenly reads it without anyone telling him to?" Alex heard her words but chose to ignore it. Right now, he is fully absorbed in reading the book in his hand. The reason for this is because, after he started reading, he realized that he can actually understand everything. Alex usually has a hard time understanding the lesson for some reason. It might be because his brain lacks the necessary energy to study or just because his brain is inherently weak, he doesn't know. And now, the sudden change brought by the increase of intelligence on his attributes has started showing its effect. Alex felt the attraction from all this knowledge that before he couldn't understand. And so, Alex used the remaining time till class started just to read books, no matter what subject it is. Math, science, history, philosophy, English, etc. Alex took everything in. Ring. Alex only snapped out of his trance when the school bell rang and the teacher came. Closing the book, there was a smile on Alex's lips as he raised his head. "I never thought that studying was this fun," he muttered. Alex felt glad that he raised his intelligence yesterday. "Hey!" As he was still intoxicated with the addictive feeling of gaining knowledge, a voice on the side brought him back. He turned his head and saw Chris looking at him with curious eyes. "Since when did you start becoming such a knowledge-hungry guy?" she said with a light smile. Alex also smiled and said, "I just thought that I should at least try studying since I don't want to fail, right?" After saying that, he turned his eyes back to the podium where the teacher was at. "Okay class, good morning." Chapter 15. Chris' Secret? Standing in front of the class, Ms. Gonzalez looked at the students and said, "Last night I checked and scored the quiz that you took yesterday. Now, I will be handing back your papers to let you see your scores. When I call your name, come to me and take your paper, okay?" "Yes, miss." After hearing the students' reply, Ms. Gonzalez started calling out the students' names one by one. Gutierrez. Fordan. Dela Cruz. Santos. The students obediently took their papers and looked at the scores marked at the top. Some of them came back with a bright face while some can't hide their disappointment. No need to ask, they probably got a low score. After waiting for a while, soon Alex's name was called. Fernando. Alex stood up, walked to the podium and received the paper from Ms. Gonzalez. Before handing him his paper, Ms. Gonzalez called everyone in the class and said, "By the way, students, Alex scored the highest in yesterday's quiz, he got a perfect score. You should learn from him and study more." After saying that, Ms. Gonzalez gave Alex his paper and said, "Okay, you can go back now. Keep up the good work." Alex smiled and took his paper before heading back to his seat. Ms. Gonzalez continued calling the students, handing back their papers. But at this time, all eyes of the students are on Alex, looking at him with shock and surprise. Usually, Alex doesn't do well in class since he has to work to make a living. That's why he doesn't have time to study. Because of that, people don't pay attention to him. Also, since he's poor and his uniform looks old and dirty, no one really wants to interact with him. But now, the guy that everyone usually ignores suddenly tops the surprise quiz. Of course, there are also those who have doubts whether Alex cheated or not. Alex didn't pay attention to everyone's eyes and just looked at his paper. The 100 at the top of the paper written in red ink was very noticeable. Seeing that, Alex felt great, but on the outside, he tried to look calm as much as possible. "This is so awesome. I only hoped that I would pass the quiz but I didn't expect to even perfect it," Alex thought, full of excitement in his heart. But after a while, Alex soon returned to calm. Thinking about it, this score is because of luck and not really because of him. There's no reason that he should be this proud because of it. Sighing, he folded his paper and placed it inside his bag. Then, a resolute look appeared on his face and he said, "Someday, I will earn a perfect score with my own hard work and not rely on luck." "What are you muttering about?" At this time, Chris approached and looked at him curiously. Alex shook his head, "It's nothing." Then, he turned his gaze at her and asked, "Why are you coming over here?" "Oh, I was just curious." "Since when did you become such a smart guy?" Hearing her question, Alex showed a shocked look and jokingly said, "Wah! As my only friend, how could you not know that I've been smart since the beginning?" Chris rolled her eyes at him, saying, "Whatever, anyway, I'm happy that you topped this quiz. Even though it's just a quiz, this at least shows that you are starting to care more about your studies." After saying that, Chris went back to her seat and looked at Ms. Gonzalez at the front. Looking at Chris, Alex felt some emotion in his heart that he was not sure about. The only way he could describe it was, "It's warm." He smiled a little and turned his eyes back at Ms. Gonzalez. Soon, all the papers were given and the class started normally. 12 p.m. The school bell rang signifying lunch break and everyone stood up from their seats to grab something to eat. Alex and Chris went to the cafeteria to eat together. After waiting in a long line of students, the two successfully bought their lunch and sat on an empty table. While eating, Alex and Chris chatted about some things that they find worthy of talking about. After some time, Chris looked at Alex and asked, "Alex, did you see the news about the missing students?" Nodding, Alex disinterestedly said, "You mean those guys that went missing last week, right?" "Yeah, I saw that one. What about it?" "Well, isn't it scary? Students are going missing for unknown reasons. What if they were kidnapped?" Alex put on a thoughtful look then casually said, "That's unfortunate if they were really kidnapped. Since a week has already and no one contacted them yet, the kidnapper wanting ransom is low. Meaning, those students could already be dead or imprisoned somewhere." Chris slowly nodded, "Yeah, that could be the case." Then, she suddenly looked at Alex and mysteriously said, "But what if it was actually caused by something supernatural?" Hearing Chris' words, Alex finally showed an interest in the topic. "Hey? What do you mean?" he asked while looking at Chris. Normally, Alex wouldn't show in such a topic. But what he experienced in the past 2 days were quite magical, which made him interested in anything that might relate to it. Chris smiled seeing that he got Alex's attention. She said, "You remember that my family can be considered rich in our city, right?" Alex nodded. Chris continued, "Actually, that's just what's shown on the outside. The truth is, our family is the top power in Pearl City." Pausing for a bit, Chris showed a solemn look and said, "I want to tell you something, Alex." Getting to this part, Chris moved over to Alex's side. She got closer to him until they were just inches away from each other. Chris whispered to him, "Alex, I have a skill called appraisal and I know you have been into the alter dimension." Chapter 16. Earth's alter dimension history. Hearing what Chris just said, Alex froze on the spot and didn't immediately react. Then, when he came to his senses, he snapped his head in Chris' direction and looked at her with eyes filled with surprise. But before they even got the chance to talk, an embarrassing scene happened between them. Because Chris just whispered in his ear, her face was pretty close to Alex. And when Alex turned his head in her direction, he forgot about that, which resulted in their lips touching. Now, it was not just Alex who was stunned at this turn of events, but also Chris. The two forgot to react and only after 3 seconds passed did the two hurriedly move away from each other. With a red face, Chris glared at Alex, "You." No words came out of Chris and she can only stare at Alex with a resentful look. As for Alex, after the initial surprise, he quickly recovered and seemed to not take that kiss too seriously. He looked at the glaring Chris and said, "What? What about me? That was my first kiss, you took advantage of me." Alex covered his chest and acted like a girl who just got molested. Seeing him acting like that, Chris grew angrier. But after a while, she managed to maintain her composure and not attack Alex. She took a deep breath and continued with what she was talking about, trying to disperse the embarrassment brought by the unexpected event. Coughing lightly, Chris continued talking, "Anyway, as I was saying, I know your secret." Hearing Chris repeat her words before, Alex also dropped his playful attitude and looked at Chris seriously. Then, he was about to say something, but the school bell suddenly rang at this time, interrupting him. He paused for a second and said, "Let's talk about this again later. For now, let's go back to class first." Chris nodded in understanding. The two got up and silently went back to the classroom without saying anything more to each other. Both have things running inside their own minds at this moment, but only they know what it is. The two sat back to their respective seats and waited for the afternoon class to start. Soon, the teacher came and the class started. However, Alex's mind was not on the teacher at this time. He is still occupied by the words that Chris said earlier at lunch. Because of that, he can't focus on the class at all. Time continued flowing and soon it was time to leave school. Alex immediately stood, he looked at Chris and said, "Let's go. We still have things to talk about." Chris nodded and picked her things up. The two left the school with hurried footsteps. Then, they went to a park not far away from the school. There are a few people in the park such as students from their school dating or some group of friends who are just hanging out together before going back home. Alex and Chris went to a particular spot without people and took a seat on a bench. Once they sat down, Alex did not waste any time. He turned his eyes to Chris and said, "So, what is all that about back at lunchtime?" Chris was silent for a while before she started talking in a serious tone. "As I have told you, I have this skill called appraisal. Using it, I learned that you have been to the alter dimension." Alex frowned, he said, "From your words, it seems like you're pretty familiar with the alter dimension, hey?" Chris raised her head and gazed directly into Alex's eyes, then she said, "Alex, have you ever thought that it's not only you who can enter the alter dimension?" Hearing her question, Alex thought about the gun that he found back at the now lucky dungeon. "Yeah, I have thought about it already. Since there was an item from Earth in that place, it just means that someone from Earth has been there before." Thinking of that, Alex thought of something and stared intently into Chris' eyes. "Chris, does that mean that you have also been to the alter dimension?" Chris nodded, "Yes, how do you think I got my appraisal skill? It's not just me, there's also my family and a lot more people in the world." Hearing all this, Alex didn't seem to be as shocked as one would think. "So that's it, hey?" he muttered, nodding in understanding. Then, Alex decided to ask something that he was curious about. "Anyway, why are you suddenly talking about all this with me?" From what Alex could infer from all the information he has, the existence of alter dimension seems to be a secret from the people and only those rich and powerful know about it. Now that Chris is openly talking about all these things with him, Alex would not believe her if she told him that she doesn't have a motive. And just like he thought, Chris really has a reason for telling him all this. "Remember those missing students that we were talking about at lunch?" Confused, Alex said, "Yeah, what is it about them again?" With a serious look, Chris said, "Actually, their disappearance has something to do with the alter dimension." Alex is not stupid, he has already thought about this after Chris talked about it again and again while the topic is about alter dimension. What he wants to know now is, how are these two things related? Chris didn't make Alex guess for long as she started talking about it. Alter dimension's existence has been known by the government since 100 years ago through an accident in a laboratory while researching the existence of dark matter. When they first arrived at the other world, everyone was ecstatic at the new discovery and immediately set out to explore. However, the journey resulted in many casualties because of something that they didn't expect. Monsters. Chapter 17. Grinding levels. Alex listens closely as Chris talks about some of the history of the alter dimension when it was first discovered. Without pausing, Chris continued talking. At first, the expedition group from Earth were able to kill a few low-level monsters using guns that they brought and learned about the leveling system that exists in alter dimension. Since it was similar to games that everyone is familiar with, they immediately adapted to it and raised their levels. However, soon they met a high-level monster. It was an existence that even a gun that humanity considers as the main weapon can't damage. They could only retreat back to Earth under the pursuit of that monster. In the end, only half of the people who went to explore the alter dimension managed to come back. When Chris arrived at this part, a sorrowful look covered her face. Alex looked at her but did not say anything. Shaking her head, Chris got rid of other thoughts in her head and said, "After that, a lot of things happened which resulted in every rich and powerful person getting involved with the alter dimension." Raising her head, Chris looked at Alex and continued, "Now, some of the rich and powerful people at that time have been tasked with protecting Earth from the alter dimension. Just like my family. A look of realization appeared on Alex's face after hearing that. Ah, so you're saying that on the outside, your family is only a little rich, but in truth, your family is actually one of the protectors of the world. Chris nodded. Putting his hand on his chin, Alex added, because of that, you want my help to rescue the missing students from whoever kidnapped them from the alter dimension, is that it? That's right, I'm telling you all this in the hope that you will be able to lend us some of your time to help look for the missing students. Chris said and looked at Alex with expectant eyes. Seeing that, Alex frowned and said, I don't think I will be of any help to you though. I'm not really someone powerful that I can do something about a problem that you guys can solve. When Chris heard that, she smiled and said, of course, I know that. Don't worry, I'm not asking you to fight monsters or go out of your way to search for those students. The only thing that I want to ask you is to watch out in case you see them around in the alter dimension and just relay it to me. After saying that, she sighed and said, it's all because until now, we still haven't found where those people are. We want to widen the scope of our search, that's why I'm asking this of you now. Nodding in understanding, Alex said, then I guess there's no problem. I'll take a look if they are in the vicinity of my place and tell it to you immediately. Hearing that, the smile came back to Chris' lips. That's great, thank you, Alex. Looking at the sky, Alex saw the orange glow of the setting sun. He turned his head back to Chris and said, it's already late, there's still a lot of things I want to ask you, but I got to go back now since I still have a lot of things to do. Is that so? Then I won't keep you occupied. I also have to go back now and help with the search. Chris said. The two talked for a while and said goodbye to each other before going their own separate ways. Chris rode on a black car that's been waiting for her outside the park while Alex started walking unhurriedly back to his home. After some time, Alex was back at his house. Without wasting any time, Alex teleported back to Lucky Dungeon. When he arrived, Alex immediately noticed a figure sitting in the corner. Oh, you're finally awake. It was Ben, who Alex accepted as a subordinate yesterday. Ah, yes, boss. At this time, Ben has recovered some color to his face after a whole night and day of rest. When he saw Alex appear in front of him, Ben was surprised, but he still hurriedly stood up and answered. Crossing his hands, Alex said, good, now, I have a task for you. Hearing that, Ben stood up straight and replied, whatever it is, just give it to me, boss. I will make sure that you will be satisfied with my work. Alex nodded with a satisfied look on his face. As for whether Ben will be loyal to him or not, Alex has no worries about that. When Ben agreed to become Alex's underling yesterday, Alex felt a connection with him form like a thread that connects the two of them. From his guess, this was an effect brought by the skill Lord's Sanctuary, probably a hidden effect that's not written in the skill detail. Anyway, after this thread connects them, Ben can only remain loyal to Alex for the rest of his life whether he wants it or not. Alex stared at Ben and said, okay, my first task for you is to go back to Don and report to him what happened to the two. Keep the matter of you becoming my underling for now, and then tomorrow, come back here with him. As for how you'll convince him to come here, I will leave that up to you. After saying all that, Alex raised an eyebrow and said, did you understand everything? Ben nodded repeatedly, yes, boss. Don't worry, I will execute your order immediately, boss. That's good, then what are you still waiting for? Go now. Seeing that Ben still hasn't left, Alex told him to get out. Soon, Alex was left alone inside his dungeon. Looking around, Alex said, now then, it's time for me to go as well and level up. Saying that, Alex took out the gun that's been in his storage. In big strides, Alex left and headed in the direction of the town gate. Chapter 18. Black Forest. Alex only walked for a short time before arriving at the town's gate. A long line of people is what greeted Alex. They were waiting for their time to get inside the town while being inspected one by the garrison. In this world, if one wants to enter a town or a city, there are two ways. First is to show proof that you are a resident of the city you are entering. It can be in the form of an identification card or residential certificate as long as it will show that you live there. Second is to pay some coins and receive a temporary pass. However, as its name suggests, this pass is temporary and can only last for 7 days before you have to either leave or go back to the garrison to pay for another pass. Anyway, when leaving the town, inspection is not necessary and they can just directly walk out. Of course, this is not absolute, sometimes there are also inspections due to some events. Alex passed through the gate without any scruples and arrived outside. The large land outside Cupido town immediately welcomed Alex to the outside world. The wind was gentle and blew Alex's hair. Closing his eyes, Alex sighed relaxedly, the air outside is a lot more relaxing than the air inside the town. This is his first time stepping out of town and for some time, it felt novel for him. Not long after, Alex started moving towards one of the hunting grounds near Cupido town. 15 minutes after walking on foot, Alex arrived at his destination. This is really a huge forest. I guess this is bigger than Cupido town by more than 10 times. Looking around, Alex said with some awe to his voice. The place that Alex went to this time is a hunting ground called Black Forest. Here, there are quite a lot of monsters such as goblins, fanged rabbits, wind wolves, orc, slime, etc. The deeper you go into the forest, the stronger the monsters you'll encounter. That's why most of the adventurers here tend to stay at the outer layer of the forest. About adventurers, let's talk about that some other time. Alex shook his head at this time and said, I should stop getting distracted, I have to start looking for monsters and increase my level. No longer dilly-dallying, Alex started moving. Less than a minute later, Alex finally found a monster. It was a monster everyone is probably familiar with. Green skin, 1 meter in height, pointed ears, and an ugly face. It was none other than a goblin. Alex's eyes lit up after seeing the goblin. A goblin for my first monster, this really gives the fantasy vibe. When Alex noticed the goblin also noticed him. Holding a wooden club, the goblin snarls at Alex. Gra! Immediately, the goblin raised its club and charged towards Alex. The distance between it and Alex is only less than 5 meters. Soon, the goblin arrived near Alex. Narrowing his eyes, Alex didn't use his gun this time. This time, Alex wants to try using his skill monster manipulation. Looking at the goblin, Alex thought about what he wants to happen and casted his skill. Goblin, obey me, monster manipulation. The next moment, mana started pouring out of Alex. And the goblin who was charging at him just seconds ago suddenly stopped. Then, a surprising scene appeared in front of Alex. The aggressive goblin bent its knees and bowed to Alex. Seeing that, Alex's eyes lit up, it seems like it was a success. As if to confirm his words, a notification appeared in front of his eyes. You successfully used monster manipulation on Goblin LV.7. Seeing that, Alex was filled with excitement. Wanting to try it out, Alex ordered the goblin. Stand up. Immediately, the goblin stood up with a poker face. Yes, it really worked. Alex cheered after seeing that the goblin really listened to his order. With a smile, he said, now, all I have to do is stand in the back and watch as the goblin fights for me. Next, Alex checked the stats of the goblin. Goblin LV.7. Strength, 27 Constitution, 23 Agility, 17 Intelligence, 6. Seeing the 4 basic attributes of the goblin, Alex nodded, this much power is good enough for now. Now then, it's about time to start leveling up for real. With that said, Alex continued moving with the goblin in front. After walking for several minutes, Alex found a pack of wolves with green fur. Wind wolves, hey! Alex said to himself as he observed the pack from behind a bush. From the dungeon core before, one of the pieces of information that Alex got was a whole encyclopedia of monsters in this world. Because of that, he is familiar with the monsters here. There are 12 wind wolves in front and one of them is twice as big as the others. Obviously, it is the leader of this pack. 12 wolves, I guess a goblin will just be beaten if I threw it out there, hey! Alex said. Rubbing his chin, Alex thought about what he should do. Maybe I can lure them one by one and kill them. But since the leader is there, that probably won't work. Turning his eyes at the wind wolves, Alex said, their levels are around 4 to 6 while the leader's level is the highest, level 9. Compared to him who's only LV.2, Alex felt the huge gap in strength. Alex let out a sigh while shaking his head. I guess I can use my monster manipulation again to control a few more wolves. That way, I won't be at a disadvantage in numbers. I only have 130 mana remaining, so I can only cast monster manipulation 6 more times. Thinking of that, a smile appeared on Alex's face. It's just the right number to remove the number advantage the wolves have. Without delaying any longer, Alex casted his skills on 6 wind wolves. Immediately, those wind wolves fell under Alex's control. 2 of those 6 were level 6 while the others were level 4 wind wolves. Alex took a look at their stats and found that agility is the most dominant stats of these wind wolves. Clearly, they are specialized in speed, which is honestly not surprising. Anyway, Alex didn't want to waste any more time. Controlling the wind wolves, he ordered them to attack the other wolves around them. Growl. At the same time, the goblin beside him also charged towards the pack of wolves. Chapter 19. Alex vs. Windwold Leader. In the pack of wind wolves, the leader looked at the situation in front with confusion. It is puzzled why the 6 younger brothers under him suddenly attacked the others in the pack. Not giving him time to think about it, one of the rebellious wolves attacked him with a ferocious look on its face. Growl. Angered by this, the leader dodged on the side before opening his mouth and biting the wind wolf on the neck. Whimper. Without even the chance to fight back, the wind wolf died at the mouth of its own leader. Alex behind the bush saw all this. At the same time, a notification appeared in Alex's eyes. Ding! You killed a level 6 wind wolf, plus 70 experience points. Seeing that, Alex was surprised for a moment but soon understood. So the wolf that's affected by monster manipulation skill is still considered as a wild monster. Since it died while it was under my control, that was like me sending it to its death, that's why I got experience points. Thinking of this, a light shone on Alex's eyes. He thought of another way of using monster manipulation to kill his enemies. Alex was elated because of this, but he didn't let it distract him at this time. Looking back at the wolf leader that still has blood dripping out of its mouth, Alex frowned and said, "This leader is overwhelmingly high compared to the wolves under it. But I guess that's the reason why it's the leader of the pack, hey." Rubbing his chin, Alex said, "I should hurry up and increase my level so that I'll have a chance to fight against this wolf leader." Controlling the remaining 5 wolves in his hand, Alex grouped them together to attack one wolf at a time. This change immediately showed its effect. With 5 wolves going against one, the fight ended quickly. You killed a level 5 wind wolf, plus 40 experience points. Alex didn't look at the notification, all his attention was on the battle. At this time, the wind wolf leader seems to have made up its mind when it saw another one of its underling dying. Growl. It growled fiercely and was about to attack the wolves under Alex's control. Seeing that, Alex ordered one wolf and the goblin to keep the leader distracted. The goblin rode the wind wolf's back and went around the leader. With the goblin who's strength-oriented and the wind wolf whose stats are more dominant in speed, the fighting power of the two increased by a lot. However, against the level 10 wind wolf leader, the gap didn't shorten at all. The goblin rider can only run around to keep the leader occupied while the 4 wind wolves and another one of their kind. You killed a level 4 wind wolf, plus 20 experience points. Now, there's only 3 more wolves besides the pack leader. The wolves that were ferocious by nature saw their brethren dying one after another. This caused them to show their teeth and snarl at their other brethren that betrayed them. They started fighting back with all their strength, biting into Alex's wolves. 5 minutes later, the battle between the wolves ended. The 3 wild wolves on the leader's side and the 4 on Alex's side were already down on the ground, bleeding and already at death's door. At this time, not even one of them could stand up. Seeing this, Alex's eyes lit up and seems to see those wind wolves as experience points. Without hesitation, Alex jumped out of the bush and rushed towards those wolves. At this time, those wolves no longer had any fighting power, and even when they saw a human rushing towards them, they could only bare their teeth weakly. Alex smiled playfully when he saw that, "Oh, a dying puppy dared to bare its teeth at me, hey." Then the next moment, Alex kicked the head of that wolf, immediately ending its life. Boom! You killed a level 6 wind wolf, plus 70 experience points. Congratulations, you leveled up. Congratulations, the Dungeon Master skill tree has been unlocked. You got 10 skill points. Seeing the level up notification, Alex smiled happily. Then he turned his eyes at the remaining wolves on the ground and smiled evilly. Obediently die and hand over your experience. The next moment, Alex kicked the heads of the remaining wolves and consecutive kill notifications appeared. You killed a level 6 wind wolf, plus 70 experience points. You killed a level 5 wind wolf, plus 40 experience points. Just as Alex killed the 2 enemy wolves, 2 new notifications appeared again which surprised him. You killed a level 6 wind wolf, plus 70 experience points. You killed a level 5 goblin, plus 40 experience points. When Alex saw that, a look of enlightenment appeared on his face. He turned his head in another direction and saw the leader Windwolf biting the goblin and Windwolf with its sharp fangs. Just as Alex looked at the Windwolf leader, it also turned its head and looked at him fiercely. With his intelligence, it's not difficult for it to understand that the cause of everything that just happened to its pack was caused by Alex. Seeing that the attention of this wolf is now on him, Alex frowned. A level 10 Wind Wolf. I should be able to handle it after distributing all my free attribute points. Calling his attribute panel, Alex hurriedly distributed his attribute points. Name, 0. Class, Dungeon Master. Level, 3. Talent, Fortune's Embodiment. Health, 360/360, and every point in Constitution is 10 HP. Every level up adds 100. I forgot to add it last time, sorry about that. Mana, 490/290, and 1 intelligence equals 10 mana. Every level up also adds 50. Strength, 16 Constitution, 16 Agility, 13 Intelligence, 39 Charisma, 16. Free attributes, 0. Skill points, 10. Skills, Sacrifice, U, Monster Manipulation, A, Lord's Sanctuary, A. Alex hurriedly dumped all his newly acquired attribute points to his intelligence without hesitation. Since his mana has recovered now thanks to leveling up, Alex can use Monster Manipulation again. Monster Manipulation is a skill that is all about intelligence stats. If you have higher intelligence stat than the target monster, then the skill would activate without problem and the monster will fall under your control. That's the reason why Alex poured all his free attributes on intelligence without hesitation this time. Just as Alex finished distributing his stats, the Windwolf leader also snarled at him before it started rushing with great momentum. Roar. Chapter 20. First Battle's Victory. Roar. The Windwolf leader charged towards Alex at a fast speed. As a leader, this Windwolf of course has higher stats than normal Windwolf. If you compare it with a normal level 10 Windwolf, its stats will at least be doubled. Monsters are not like humans, they are not able to distribute attribute points. Their stats only grow naturally along with the path of their species. This increase in stats is also the most optimal distribution accordingly. Because of that, their stats always lean towards the advantage of their race just like this Windwolf. That's why right now, the Windwolf leader's speed was unbelievably fast. Even for Alex, it's hard to see the Windwolf leader clearly with his naked eyes. Feeling the threat that the charging Windwolf leader brings to him, Alex focused all his thoughts on it. Then, with his thought, he casted his skill. Monster Manipulation. When the skill hit the Windwolf leader, its movement seems to slow down a little. However, it didn't stop its feet and continued rushing forward. At the same time, Alex felt some resistance from the Windwolf leader. Kook. This is harder than I expected. Pushing more of his will into the Windwolf leader's mind, its speed became slower once again. Feeling that the human was doing something to its brain, the Windwolf leader's face grew worse. It showed its sharp fangs and looked at Alex with hatred. Growling. Alex felt it, even though he was already giving it his all, it's still not enough. He needs something more to overpower the Windwolf leader and take over its mind. Tisk, what the hell should I do? Alex said with a heavy frown on his face. The Windwolf leader got closer and closer the longer time passed. Just as Alex was thinking hard, a few new notifications suddenly appeared in his eyes. You killed a level 4 Windwolf, plus 20 experience points. You killed a level 4 Windwolf, plus 20 experience points. Congratulations, you leveled up. You got 20 free attributes. You got 10 skill points. You killed a level 5 Windwolf, plus 40 experience points. You killed a level 6 Windwolf, plus 70 experience points. The consecutive notifications surprised Alex for a moment. But when he saw that he leveled up, an ecstatic look appeared on his face. What the hell? Am I so lucky? I was just thinking about what I should do and my level increased. Taking a peek at the 4 bleeding controlled Windwolves on the side, Alex saw that they were already dead at this time. It's all thanks to you 4. Alex thought and silently thanked them in his heart for giving him their experience points. Then, Alex hurriedly added the 20 attribute points into intelligence. Once he did that, he looked at the Windwolf leader who's already closing in with a smile on his face. You're such an unlucky wolf, it's time to end this now. Monster Manipulation. Boom. The Windwolf leader's resistance against Alex's control instantly crumbled in the face of overwhelming stats. As that happened, the Windwolf leader lost its control over itself and Alex immediately took over. Then, he immediately executed an order at it. Stop! When Alex's voice died down, the Windwolf leader stopped its charge. Looking at the huge face of the Windwolf leader that's just inches away from him, Alex felt cold sweat run down his back. He retreated a few steps before heaving a sigh of relief. Phew, that was a close one. I didn't expect that I would immediately encounter a strong monster minutes after entering the forest. Thinking of this, Alex sighed for the second time. Alex decided to rest since that fight exhausted him a little. Even though he didn't seem to be doing anything in the back, he was still controlling all the monsters under the monster manipulation skill. What's more, just that struggle with the Windwolf leader for control was also a really tiring thing to do mentally. Anyway, Alex went to a nearby tree, sat down with his back leaning on it and closed his eyes. After he got enough rest, Alex stood back up and went to the monster carcasses. Looking at it, Alex can't help but mutter, if this was inside the dungeon, the body would have already disappeared, leaving only the drops. In a dungeon, when you kill a monster, items will drop while the body of the monster will disappear. A wide variety of items can be dropped from monsters in a dungeon. There are potions, weapons, armor, items, skill books, etc. This is the loot of those who venture the dungeons and also the reason why they do so. Meanwhile, outside the dungeon, like here in Black Forest, if monsters are killed, they will just die normally and you can take their carcasses. Then you can dismantle it and take the useful items like skin, fangs, bones, meat, etc. However, dismantling is really not Alex's thing and he never even planned to do such a thing. That's because all of these are going to be used for sacrifice. I should gather all the corpses in one place first so that I don't have to cast sacrifice repeatedly. Saying, Alex first went to the body of the pair of Goblin and Windwolf that's been torn into tatters by the Windwolf leader. Seeing just how much those two got ruined by the Windwolf leader, Alex can't help but think back to that scene when it was roaring at him wildly while charging. Highs, I'm glad I leveled up just on time. If not, I would probably be dog food by now. Alex said while sighing. After Alex dragged every monster corpse in one place, he stretched out his hand and casted his skill. Sacrifice. Immediately, light lit up from those 11 corpses before they magically disappeared. Along with their disappearance, notifications sounded in Alex's head. You used sacrifice, you earned 55 attribute points. Chapter 21. Level 6. You used sacrifice, you gained 55 attribute points. Looking at the huge amount of attribute points that he got, Alex can't help but grin. Hehe, I really got a lot of this time. Even though this is just about 3 level ups for me, for others this is almost equivalent to getting 11 level ups. Normal classes get 5 attribute points every time they level up while Alex gets 4 times of that. That's to say, a level 3 Alex will have the same number of attribute points as a level 9 basic class. That's just how perverted a dungeon master is. Anyway, seeing all these attribute points, Alex felt happy. Opening his character panel, Alex thought for a bit before distributing his points. This time, Alex didn't just dump it all on intelligence. What he wants is to achieve balance with his attributes. Then, he started adding points to attributes. Not long after, Alex finished distributing his points. Name, 0. Class, Dungeon Master. Level, 3. Talent, Fortune's Embodiment. Health, 500/500. Mana, 690/690. Strength, 30 Constitution, 30 Agility, 30 Intelligence, 59 Charisma, 26. Free attributes, 0. Skill points, 20. Skills, Sacrifice, U, Monster Manipulation, A, Lord's Sanctuary, A. Seeing his stats, Alex nodded in satisfaction. Since I can get a lot of attribute points using Sacrifice, there's no really a reason to let go of my other stats. Alex said. After that, he closed the character panel and opened a new one. It is the skill tree that activated a while ago. Since he has some skill points, Alex wants to try getting some active skills that he can use in fights. It's because Alex realized in the fight earlier that if all he has is a control skill, there's a huge chance that he'll fall into great danger once the monster didn't fall under control. That's why Alex is looking for an attack skill for that to not happen. After opening the skill tree, Alex immediately went to the magic branch and started browsing. Fireball. Ice Lance. Fire Arrows. Wind blades. Dig. Portal. Alex looked at the wide variety of skills available in the skill tree and was amazed by the strong magic skill that he saw. Unfortunately, I can't pick those strong skills yet. Alex said, sighing regretfully. On the skill tree, most of the skills are grayed out for some reason and only a few are lit that Alex can choose from. These are all Tier 1 skills that are suitable for Tier 1 players. They are all basic magic spells like Fireball, Ice Lance, Dig, Wind Blade, etc. All of which only need one skill point to get. So without hesitation, Alex picked 5 magic skills of different elements. Fireball, Earth Spike, Wind Blade, Freeze, and Water Ball, these are what Alex chose. Fireball. Details: gather U mana and create a ball of fire. This can damage your enemy by 2 times intelligence and add a burn effect that gives 10% of the original damage per second that can last for 10 seconds. Consumption: 10 mana. Cooldown: 3 minutes. Earth Spike. Details: use your mana to control the earth and form it into spikes that can protrude from the ground. Consumption: 7 mana. Cooldown: 1 minute. Looking at the 5 new skills on his character panel, Alex was satisfied. With this, I really have my own power to explore and protect myself now. Alex said while smiling. After that, Alex looked up at the sky, he grinned and said, I still have time, I should rush and grind for more experience. Saying that, Alex hurried towards the Wind Wolf leader. Looking at it, he said, hey, I will be riding on your back this time to speed up my leveling, so make sure to be good. Then, he jumped on the back of the Wind Wolf leader and ordered it to start moving. Immediately, the Wind Wolf started moving its legs and ran at a very fast speed. Alex on the back felt the fierce wind brushing past him and a look of enjoyment covered his face. This is great! Yoo-hoo! And so, Alex continued his leveling journey behind the back of a Wind Wolf. After that, Alex met a few monsters and took care of them with the help of the Wind Wolf while also attacking with Fireball from time to time. You killed a level 7 Goblin, plus 100 experience points. You killed a level 4 Horned Rabbit, plus 20 experience points. You killed a level 9 Wind Wolf, plus 175 experience points. After an hour of hunting, Alex killed dozens of monsters and managed to level up to level 6. You killed a level 6 Fierce Boar, plus 70 experience points. Congratulations, you leveled up. You got 20 attribute points. You got 10 skill points. Looking at the level up notification, Alex smiled happily. With the Wind Wolf's fast speed and strong fighting power, my hunting speed was really fast and also very efficient. Alex did not immediately distribute his free attribute points and was about to continue hunting. But suddenly, the Wind Wolf seems to feel something. It entered alert mode and was looking at the surroundings with high vigilance. Seeing that, Alex frowned and became alert. What's the problem, Fairy? Alex asked in a low voice. After an hour of hunting together, Alex learned a few things about the Wind Wolf and so, decided to name it. Anyway, one of the things that he learned is that Fairy has a really great perception and can detect enemies around them even from a distance. That's why when he saw it acting like this, Alex did not dare to not pay attention to it. Fairy at this time is looking in one direction cautiously. Alex saw that and followed Fairy's line of sight and saw something. Narrowing his eyes, Alex said, is that a cave? In front of their eyes, a cave could be seen with a few young-looking people that seemed to be in their teens guarding it. But when Alex saw those people, he frowned. Those guys, they seem familiar. Chapter 22. Kun's Lair. Those guys look familiar, where have I seen those faces? Alex frowned and looked carefully at the guards outside the cave. Oh, I remember now, aren't they the missing students that's been on the news this morning? After looking at them for a while, a look of enlightenment covered Alex's face. That's right, those guys are indeed the missing students. Just before going inside the altar dimension, Chris also told him to tell her if ever he saw these guys in here. But Alex didn't really take it seriously that time, he thought that there's a low chance that this problem is near where he is. Never did he expect that they were really near him. Alex scratched his head with a frown. Aish, what am I gonna do about this? Should I go back and tell it to Chris now? Alex deliberated about it for a while before coming to a decision. If I go back now, my time will just be wasted. He raised his head and looked in the direction of the cave again and said. For now, I should check out what's inside that cave and the students as well. With how I am now, I am confident that I can fight anyone under level 25 if I distribute my remaining free attributes. Alex said, then with a thought, he called out his character panel. Status. Just gonna add this, kinda nostalgic. Name, 0. Class, Dungeon Master. Level, 6. Talent, Fortune's Embodiment. Health, 800/800. Mana, 840/840. Strength, 30 Constitution, 30 Agility, 30 Intelligence, 59 Charisma, 26. Free attributes, 190. Skill points, 45. Skills, Sacrifice, U, Monster Manipulation, A, Lord's Sanctuary, A, Fireball, D, Earth Spike, D, Wind Blade, D, Freeze, D, Water Ball, D. While Alex was hunting, he didn't immediately distribute his free attributes. Since he was mostly just sitting at Fairy's back, he didn't really need to increase his stats immediately. All of the battle was handled by Fairy while occasionally, Alex would throw a fireball or some other magic to support. Because of that, it was not only Alex who leveled up but also Fairy. With Fairy's increase in stats, they started hunting higher level monsters from level 6 to level 10. That's the reason why Alex managed to level up 3 times in such a short amount of time. Additionally, thanks to him using sacrifice on every monster that he killed, he piled up quite a number of free attributes. Speaking of sacrifice, Alex looked at the boar that he just killed and used sacrifice on it. You used sacrifice, you gained 5 attribute points. Then, Alex turned his eyes back at his character panel and pondered how he would distribute his attribute points. After a while, Alex finished allocating his free attributes and looked at his new status. Name, 0. Class, Dungeon Master. Level, 6. Talent, Fortune's Embodiment. Health, 1400/1400. Mana, 1240/1240. Strength, 80 Constitution, 80 Agility, 80 Intelligence, 99 Charisma, 26. Free attributes, 0. Skill points, 45. Skills, Sacrifice, U, Monster Manipulation, A, Lord's Sanctuary, A, Fireball, D, Earth Spike, D, Wind Blade, D, Freeze, D, Water Ball, D. Alex nodded in satisfaction. With a smile, he said, good, with this status, I can confidently say that anyone under level 25 is no match for me. The reason why Alex only said level 25 even though his status has increased by a lot is because, at level 25, players will go through class advancement. Here, a qualitative growth will happen that will make their stats double or even triple. That's why Alex didn't dare to say anything about those at level 25 or higher for now. By the way, I should also learn the stealth skill, it will be useful in infiltrating inside the cave. Alex learned stealth from the skill tree. Stealth. Details: enter stealth by using mana and hide your presence from your surroundings. Certain actions might cancel the stealth. Consumption, 1 mana/second. Cooldown, none. Now, I'm good to go. Saying that, Alex ordered Fairy to stand by here and remain hidden before casting stealth on himself. Then, slowly made his way towards the cave in the distance. When Alex got near the cave, he got a clearer look at the students guarding outside. They have a hollowed look in their eyes and they appear to be unconscious. Like puppets being controlled by the puppeteer. Seeing that, Alex frowned. Hey, what happened to them? Are they being controlled or something? Alex observed them for a while before he walked inside the cave. He doesn't have time to waste right now, every second is consuming his mana because of stealth. With his mana, he can only use stealth for 20 minutes. That's why Alex didn't have the leisure to observe everything meticulously. What is this? When he entered the cave, Alex felt the surrounding atmosphere change somehow. As if to answer his question, a notification appeared in his eyes. Hint: you have entered the Broken Dungeon Kun's lair. Hint: do you want to fix the Broken Dungeon Kun's lair? Yes/no. Seeing this, Alex was surprised. I didn't expect that this cave was actually a broken dungeon. Broken dungeons are dungeons that got their core broken and so leaving only the place with no master. If Alex chooses to fix this place, it will become a part of his territory. For Alex, this is a good thing, so he will fix this place and add it as his territory. However, Alex doesn't plan to do it immediately. Right now, his focus is learning the truth about the students who were kidnapped by an unknown existence. If he chooses to fix this dungeon now, it will cause a commotion which could startle the unknown existence behind the kidnapping. Alex has a feeling that he will meet that existence inside the dungeon. That's why Alex is being careful as much as possible. I will take this dungeon after I finish my task here. Dismissing the notification, Alex continued his way inside the dungeon. Chapter 23. A swang. Alex silently walked inside the dungeon while looking carefully at his surroundings. The inside of the dungeon was really just like a cave. But unlike ordinary caves, the walls inside the dungeon emit a soft light which helps lighten up the surroundings. This is very convenient because you don't need to bring a torch or other unnecessary tools to help lighten up the path. Along the way, Alex did not see anyone. The dungeon was very quiet to the point that it was eerie. The path inside the dungeon is only a straight one leading into the deeper parts of the dungeon. After walking for quite some time, Alex finally started hearing some voices. To be specific, a weird laughter accompanied by a girl's scream. Shush, be a good girl and let me help you turn into my own kind. Ah! No, please, anyone, help! The scream was tragic as if that girl was being cut open alive. When Alex heard those voices, his face changed. I have to hurry, it seems like the students are being tortured. Alex hastened his steps and headed deeper into the dungeon. Not long after, Alex saw an opening leading to a room. Inside, a monster whose body was cut in half in its waist was looking at a female student in the corner of the room. The monster has wings similar to a bat on its back and is flying while its bottom half is on the side, standing in silence. It was the source of the weird laughter that Alex heard a while ago. Shush, stop running and come back here before I get angry, said the monster at the girl in the corner. The girl is shivering in fright while looking at the flying half of the monster that's staring at her. Hoo, please, don't kill me, I don't want to die, please. She started begging for her life and seems to be going hysterical from fear. Beside her, Alex also saw other students inside the room. They are in a cage, covering their mouth to not make any noise while tears flow out of their eyes. Alex counted and there were 11 students inside the cage. Add those 2 guarding outside the cave and the girl being chased by the monster, that's 14. A total of 23 students have gone missing and 14 of them are here. As for the other 9, the floor is covered in red already with bits and pieces of meat. It's up to one's imagination what happened to those 9. Seeing all of this, Alex is stunned. He got the urge to vomit on the spot but he forcibly resisted it. With a pale face, Alex thought, I never thought that I would ever witness such a scene. Gathering himself, Alex tried to maintain his composure. After he recovered, Alex adjusted his thoughts and focused his eyes on the flying upper half of the monster. He used inspect at that monster to view its details. A swang LV.22. Strength, 69 Constitution, 58 Agility, 65 Intelligence, 50 Darkness, 9. Seeing the status of the Aswang, Alex heaved a sigh of relief. Thankfully, its level is below 25. Alex murmured. While Alex was looking at the Aswang, it didn't remain idle. It seems to be having fun seeing the fearful female student on the ground break down. With a hideous smile, it playfully said, Hi, don't be like that, I will make sure to eat your flesh well, especially your organs. Hearing that, the girl seems to have fallen into despair. Seeing this, Alex can't help but feel anger towards the Aswang. Making sure that there's no other enemies around, Alex cancelled his stealth. Then, without saying a word, he cast Fireball and threw it to the Aswang. The monster was surprised at Alex's sudden appearance and didn't get the chance to avoid the attack. Boom! 198. The Aswang let out a shrill cry after being hit by the fireball. Ah! Who are you? Why are you interfering with my fun? Hint, the enemy has been hit by fireball and received the burn effect. 19.8. 19.8. 19.8. Alex saw the damage that he dealt at the Aswang and frowned. Tisk, my damage was too low. Since fireball has a cooldown, Alex can't use it for the time being. So Alex casted another magic skill. Wind Blade. A 2-meter-long blade made out of intense wind appeared in front of Alex. With a wave of his hand, it flew towards the Aswang in the air at a very fast speed. Slash! 274. The Aswang was hit on her chest, causing a huge slice to appear in that area. At this time, the Aswang seems to not feel any pain from the wound on her chest. She looked at Alex with an ugly face and said, "I will make you pay for doing all this." Just as her words ended, she flapped her wings and rushed towards Alex at a fast speed. Almost in an instant, she appeared right in front of Alex and attacked him with her claws. Whoosh! Alex hurriedly stepped back and avoided the attack. The claws hit the air, which made the Aswang even more frustrated. Taking advantage of that, Alex immediately closed in and punched her in the face. Boom! The Aswang flew in the air and hit the wall. Without wasting this chance, Alex followed the Aswang and started beating her up while she's against the wall. Because of Alex's superior strength, the Aswang wasn't able to stop him or even counter-attack. Alex didn't stop even when the Aswang was already bleeding heavily. At this time, Alex didn't think of stupid things like letting go of his enemy or having mercy. For him, an enemy can only be dealt with a heavy blow. While beating the Aswang, Alex said, "Aren't you arrogant? Then continue eating my punch." "Stupid, I thought you're gonna make me pay or something." Alex can't help doing this because of the anger he feels for the Aswang. The cruelty she showed to those students was something she should pay with her life. Bang! Finally, after almost about 5 minutes of him attacking non-stop, a kill notification appeared in Alex's eyes. You killed a level 22 Aswang, plus 22,000 experience points. Chapter 24. We're back on Earth. When Alex saw the notification, the fist that was about to land on the beaten Aswang paused in mid-air. Confirming that the Aswang is really dead, Alex sat on the ground and heaved a sigh of relief. Ha, it's finally dead. Then, his eyes landed on the girl who was on the corner. Tears are running down her eyes and she's all curled up as if to comfort herself. Thinking for a bit, Alex stood up again and approached the girl. He crouched in front of her and in the most gentle voice he could muster, he said, "Hey, everything's fine now. There's nothing to fear anymore." Hearing his voice, the girl stopped crying and slowly lifted her head up. When she saw that it was an unknown man who's talking to her, she shrank back a little. Seeing that, Alex said in a low voice, Hey, it's all right, you're safe now." The girl didn't respond for a few seconds before she hesitantly stretched her head out to look around the room. When she did so, the figure of the Aswang that's been beaten to mush came to her sight. She stretched out her hand and pointed at it and in a shaky voice, she said, Is she dead?" "Yes, she's dead, so you don't have to be afraid anymore," Alex said, trying his best to stabilize her emotions. However, instead of calming her down, his words only made the girl more hysterical. She curled up again and covered her ear with her hands. With a voice full of fear, she started muttering, No, now we're really going to die. She died, so we're going to die too. No, I don't want to die, I don't want to die." Seeing her reaction, Alex was stunned. He didn't know why this girl, who's about to die at the hands of that Aswang, reacted like this. It seems like she got more frightened after seeing the Aswang dead. Her mutterings are also confusing to him, so Alex just gave up comforting her. "Forget it, what's important now is that I saved them. Next, I have to bring them back to Earth first and let Chris handle them." Standing up, Alex left the girl on her own and went to the cage where the other students are. When he got to the edge of the cage, he saw that those students also had the same fearful face as the girl just now. It seems like something scary is about to befall them. Alex's frown grew heavy after seeing this. From their reaction, Alex can see that something that he didn't know was about to happen. Shaking his head, Alex said, "No, I should stop thinking about this. Bringing them back to Earth is my priority." Saying that, Alex punches the lock on the cage and breaks it open. Bang! He looked at those students that seemed to be out of themselves and said, "Everyone, get up and fix yourself. I'll bring you all back to Earth." Hearing the word Earth made everyone stop. Then, in unison, they looked up to Alex. At the center of the cage, a boy with glasses stood up and loudly asked, "Why did you just say that you're bringing us back to Earth? Is that true? Are we finally free from this damn place? Will you protect us from those monsters? Please tell me you're not lying. Please." With the boy glasses as the first, a second, a third, a fourth voice sounded until everyone started voicing out their question to Alex. Even the girl outside the cage also stopped being hysterical and looked at Alex again. Watching them all ask questions at the same time, Alex raised his fist and signaling them to be silent. After a while, the voices died down and all of them looked at Alex with hopeful eyes. Seeing that, Alex started talking. Yes, it's true that I'm going to bring you back to Earth now. The hope in the eyes of the students grew stronger after Alex confirmed. Before they even start talking again, Alex continued. However, I won't be protecting you guys from monsters. I will send you all to a friend's family to be taken care of and all of you will be under their protection. To stop them from asking more questions, Alex added at the end, if you have more questions, you can ask them later to my friend. After that, he told them to leave the cage and group together in the middle of the room. Alex also called the lonely girl in the corner. He made them all hold each other's hands and follow him. And so, Alex and 12 students left the bloody room. Since there's no more reason for Alex to stay quiet, the trip to the outside of the dungeon was much faster. When they arrived there, Alex saw the 2 students who were standing guard before are now laying on the ground, unconscious. He said, "Someone, go help those 2 up. Then we'll leave this place." The boy with glasses left the group and walked towards those 2 to help them up. Those 2 seemed too heavy for the boy, but he gritted his teeth and dragged them both into the group. Alex commended the boy in his heart. Out of everyone in the group, he's the only one who went to help those 2 unconscious guys. At the same time, Alex thought that he should also increase his charisma stat, which will surely help in this kind of situation for people to follow his instructions. Anyway, after everyone grouped up again with hands on each other, Alex called the 2 on both ends. He held their hands and said, "We're about to go back now, everyone should close their eyes to avoid dizziness." Without waiting for them to respond, Alex thought of going back to Earth with the students and they disappeared. When they appeared again, they were already outside of Alex's house near the dump site. Alex let go the hands of the 2 students and faced all of them. He smiled and said, "Everyone, you can now open your eyes. We're back on Earth." Chapter 25. A helping hand. After arriving back on Earth, Alex made everyone sit down before contacting Chris. Holding his old keypad phone, Alex scrolled through his phone book and called Chris. Ring ring. Click. Hello. After it rang for a few seconds, Alex heard Chris' voice on the other end of the call. "Hey, Chris, this is Alex." Hearing Alex's voice, Chris went silent for a couple of seconds before she replied. "Oh, Alex, what made you call me at this time of the night?" Alex frowned when he heard her question. He looked back at the group of students sitting not far away, comforting each other after successfully escaping what they thought was hell. Alex sighed. For some reason, Alex feels like Chris is the reason why he's being involved in this troublesome thing. Getting rid of such thoughts in his head, Alex answered, "What else do you think would make me call you?" "Of course, it's about what we talked about this afternoon." It seems like Alex's answer was a little unexpected for Chris and she involuntarily let out a confused noise. After a while, it seems like Chris has recovered from her stupor. Coughing, she asked, "Ehem, so, what is it about for you to call? Do you have some questions about it?" "No," Alex looked at the students and said, "I have brought back the missing students, come to my place and take them all in your care." "Hey!" Chris was surprised to hear the words that Alex just said, that it even made her stand up from her seat. Hurriedly, she said, "Wait, Alex, are you serious? Do you think I will call you at this time just to joke around?" Alex asked a little irritatedly. "Come here and see if I'm telling the truth or not. By the way, bring more cars to take them all." After saying that, Alex hung up the call without waiting for Chris to respond. "Now I just have to wait until Chris comes and then I'll go back to Cupido Town," Alex said, putting his phone into his pocket. Thinking of Chris, Alex remembered that she has an appraisal skill, which is the reason how Chris learned of his identity as a player. Truthfully, Alex doesn't really like the fact that someone is peeping on his information like that. Even if it's Chris who can be considered as his best friend, Alex still doesn't like it. Is there a skill that can help me avoid skills like appraisal? Browsing through the skill tree, Alex searched for his need and found the skill he was looking for. Concealment. Details: hide your information from the eyes of other people. Do not let them know who you really are. Become a mystery in the eyes of all. The skill description sounds a little weird, but, since it does the job, Alex didn't hesitate to learn it. This time, 10 skill points were deducted from him, unlike when he learned those magics before that only took 1 point each. Curious by this, Alex turned his attention on the concealment skill. Concealment is a passive skill, that's why it doesn't need any mana for its use. Also, Alex saw that concealment is actually an A-rank skill, which made him realize why it cost a lot of skill points. When Alex learned it, he felt like nothing changed. But it's different for those people around him. When those students that Alex saved look at it before, they can see that Alex was a young man around their age but has incredible strength. But after he learned concealment, they felt like Alex was covered by a hazy mist that makes it hard for them to see through him. It seems like Alex was covered by countless mysteries of unknown magnitude. Feeling all this, Alex's identity in their hearts rose by a lot. Anyway, Alex didn't know the changes that concealment brought him. He disgruntledly said, "I can't feel any effect from this concealment skill, what the hell is this for?" Sighing, he continued, "I just hope that it will work out in avoiding peeping eyes like Chris' appraisal skill." Saying that, Alex stopped thinking about it and sat down on some corner to wait for Chris. 5 minutes later, Chris arrived with 5 other vans for the students. Getting out of the car, Chris immediately ran towards Alex. Then with an incredulous look on her face, she said, "Alex, just how the hell did you do it?" On her way here, Chris has been wondering whether Alex was telling her the truth earlier in the phone or just pranking her countless times. But when he saw the line of students sitting near Alex's house, Chris' doubt was immediately replaced by shock and surprise. To be honest, Chris didn't really expect much from Alex when she talked to him this afternoon. She only wanted to widen the search as well as somehow involve Alex with her more so that she can help him. But now, Alex actually brought back the missing students. Because of that, Chris can't control her curiosity and asked Alex directly, looking at him face to face. Alex grabbed Chris' face and pushed her away gently, saying, "You're too close, stand over there." Displeased, Chris slapped Alex's hands away from her face. "Don't push my face like that, what if I get wrinkles?" Alex rolled his eyes at her and stopped paying attention to her. He turned his eyes at the group of students not far away and said, "Chris, I hope you can take care of these students. They just experienced something horrible." Thinking back to the bloodied scene of the room when he arrived earlier, Alex can't imagine how shocked were these normal students when they witnessed someone being brutally killed. Even though he doesn't know what exactly transpired there, from the remains, he can conclude that it was probably a tragic scene. Sighing, Alex said, "I will leave them all in your hands. I hope you can help them so that they won't get any trauma from this." After saying that, Alex walked away and entered his house. Chris watched Alex's back until it disappeared into the house and muttered, "Don't worry, I will do my best to help them, Alex." After that, she ordered the people who came with her to help the students get inside the vans before they left. Chapter 26. More luck points. Inside Alex's house, Alex sits on the sofa with a thoughtful expression. Now that everything has calmed down, Alex finally has the time to think about what happened earlier. Back at the dungeon, when he killed the Aswang that's threatening the lives of the students, instead of seeing happiness or relief on their faces, he saw despair. It was as if killing the Aswang was a big mistake. A mistake that will result in certain death for all of them. Thinking of that, Alex crossed his arms and muttered, "Why would they react that way? Is there something much scarier than the Aswang in there?" But when I looked through the dungeon, I didn't see anything though. The more Alex thought about it, the heavier the frown on his face gets. Is it just a response from being held captive by the Aswang that made them react like that? Just as he thought of that, Alex shook his head and denied it. From what he saw, they seem sure that something bad is going to happen to them because of the Aswang's death. Maybe there is really something more scary that they encountered in their time in the altar dimension. Scratching his head, Alex said, "Maybe the Aswang was only a subordinate of whatever it is that they are fearful of, that's why they reacted like that." After thinking for a while, Alex sighed, "Highs, thinking of all this on my own is just hurting my head. I better just wait for Chris to finish interviewing those kids and tell me their discovery." After that, Alex stopped thinking about it. Then Alex called his character panel and viewed his talent. What he saw next caused a smile to emerge from his frowning face. His pitifully low number of luck points has finally recovered a bit. Luck points, 53. From a pitiful 26 points to 53 points. It increases by 27 points, which also equals to the total number of monsters that Alex killed this time. That means with every kill, Alex can earn 1 luck point. Chuckling, he said, "Doesn't this mean that I can just go to a low-level area and bully the monsters there to earn more luck points?" Others might say that doing such a thing is shameful, but Alex won't shy away from doing such things. For him, the thing that he cares the most about is the eyes of other people. Just when he's in a happy mood, Alex's thoughts are interrupted by the rumbling sound of his stomach. Growl. But first, I should go eat something. Alex said, smiling wryly. He stood up and went to the kitchen to prepare some food. 10 minutes later, Alex walked back to the living room with a plate in hand. He sat on the sofa and turned on the TV. Just in time, a lottery program was showing on TV. Okay, everyone, the lottery is about to start. Our first ball is now being picked, it's here, number 36. Second number. It seems like there's still no winner for our lottery's 284 million prize. Everyone, better luck next time. Alex watched the program unconcernedly while eating his rice and adobo. Seeing the huge amount of prize money, Alex said, tisk tisk tisk, 284 million, whoever wins that money can live his whole life without money problems anymore. If only I can be the one to win that. Alex suddenly paused, then his eyes lit up with a bright light. That's right. I can win it if I want to. Just like what was said in the beginning, Alex is a poor man. Looking for scraps in the dump site is his main source of income. Alex's dream is to become a rich man and live his life however he wants. Now, this dream can soon be achieved with the help of his talent. But then, he looked at his luck points and said, with only this much amount of luck points, I am sure it will not be enough to last throughout the whole lottery program. It seems like my goal for tomorrow will be to farm more luck points. I wonder if there's a good place to farm some weak monsters. Thinking for a while, Alex thought of a perfect location. Slime Plains. It's a low-level area where slimes can usually be found wandering around. There, Alex can kill a lot of slimes to earn luck points as well as use sacrifice for more attribute points. When he thought of this, a big smile can't help but emerge on his face. Then, that's it, tomorrow I will head to Slime Plains as soon as I get out of school. Saying that, Alex hurriedly finished his dinner, took a quick shower, and headed to bed to sleep. Alex slowly drifted off to sleep and it was silent the whole night. The next day, Alex woke up early and went to school after eating his breakfast. When he got there, just like yesterday, only a few students were there and most of them were still sleeping on their desks. However, this time, Chris isn't there. Alex didn't care about that and sat down on his seat. Taking out his school books, he started reading it seriously, immersing himself with the knowledge that in the past seemed foreign to him. With the help of intelligence, that is just 1 point away from becoming 10 times of an average person, learning has become easier like never before. Intelligence includes a lot of aspects like reasoning, intuition, comprehension, imagination, memory, etc. Because of that, even if he just read a book that he's totally clueless about, he doesn't need anyone to teach him to understand it. That's why, studying by himself is slowly becoming addicting for Alex. Time continued passing without Alex noticing and soon, the school bell rang, waking up Alex who was really engrossed with studying. Raising his head, at some point, all of his classmates had already arrived. Then he heard Chris' voice on the side which made him look at her. Oh, you're finally back. Chapter 27. Farming luck points at the Slime Plains. Oh, you're already back. With an aggrieved voice, Chris said. I've been calling your name since I arrived earlier but you didn't even turn your head at me once. Alex gave her a blank look before turning his eyes back at the podium. Seeing Alex ignore her, Chris was about to complain. However, Alex spoke first. So, any news about those guys? Hearing Alex's question, Chris understood that he was talking about the students last night. Immediately, Chris dropped her playful attitude. In a low voice that only Alex could hear, she said, for now, most of them are resting to recover from the traumatic experience they just went through. Because of that we didn't get much information for now. Fortunately, there was this guy who we were able to talk with. He told us some of the things that they just went through and things they witnessed. Saying that, Chris paused and there's an ugly look on her face. Obviously, the things said by the guy who talked to them weren't pretty. Alex understood that. Then, Alex decided to ask about the matter that he's been thinking about since last night. By the way, did he say anything about an existence other than the monster that I killed when I saved them? A color of surprise showed on Chris' face. She looked at Alex and said, wow, how did you know? Anyway, yes, he really said something about that. He said that a clown monster was the one that took them to the alter dimension. From his words, it seems like it was a very scary and powerful monster. It left them under the care of the monster called a swang that he said you killed. He also said that, before that clown monster left, it told them that if something ever happens to the Aswang, it will make them experience something worse than death. After saying all that in one breath, Chris got thirsty and drank some water. As for Alex, his face did not fluctuate as he had already thought that this might be the case. If he guessed right, that clown monster has already gone through the class advancement or even higher level. I should be careful in the next few days, it will be bad if I ever encounter that clown monster with my current stats. He thought. After saying that to himself, Alex changed the topic and continued chatting with Chris about random stuff. 4 p.m. The school bell rang, signifying the end of class, and every student got up happily. Alex is also one of those students. He hurriedly grabbed his bag and left under the gaze of Chris, who didn't even get the chance to stop him. Frowning, she muttered, "Why is he in such a hurry? Forget it, I also have to go back home early anyway." Saying that, Chris also left. Alex stepped out of school and went to a fairly empty alley. After making sure that no one is around, Alex teleported to the altar dimension. When Alex appeared again, he was right outside the Kun's dungeon. Just as he arrived, Alex whistled loudly. Whistle. Soon, a rumbling noise sounded from behind a bush not far away from him. Seeing that, Alex smiled. "Fairy, come here." When Alex called his name, Fairy jumped from behind the bush and ran to Alex. It stopped just 1 meter away from Alex with a subservient attitude. If someone comes here and sees his current behavior, they would have thought that Alex raised him from birth to now. Rubbing Fairy's furry neck, Alex said, "I will have to rely on you this time, Fairy. We're going to the slime plains, so let me ride on your back so that we can get there faster." Woof. As if to respond, Fairy let out a bark like he's a dog. A mighty windwolf leader has fallen into acting like a dog in front of a human. Alex rode behind Fairy familiarly, feeling the soft comfortable fur on his buttocks. And so, they are now ready to go. But before that, Alex ordered Fairy to enter the Kun's dungeon. Yesterday, he left after killing the Aswang, and since there were quite a lot of people, he didn't use sacrifice in case they talk about it with others. Now that he's back, Alex wants to see if the corpse is still there so that he can use sacrifice on it. Less than a minute later, Alex and Fairy reached the end of the dungeon. Seeing that the Aswang corpse was still there, Alex breathed a sigh of relief. Phew, luckily, nothing wrong happened to it, he said, wiping the imaginary sweat on his forehead. Without hesitation, Alex used sacrifice on the corpse. You used sacrifice, you gained 5 attribute points. After he finished, Alex ordered Fairy to directly go to Slime Plains. However, Alex failed to notice something. The bottom half of the Aswang is no longer in the dungeon. Last night, when he left, it was still standing in the corner of the room, even after the Aswang was killed. But for it to disappear now, there's got to be a reason. Anyway, Alex already left and was already traveling towards the Slime Plains. 20 minutes later. The jumping slimes, wiggling with its jelly-like body in the middle of the plain, come to Alex's sight. Patting Fairy, he said, "Fairy, kill all slime that comes to your sight as fast as possible." Hearing his order, Fairy, who was running at a very fast speed, got even faster. It was like he became the wind itself. There was no air resistance, making his movements unbelievably smooth. Soon, the first kill notification of the day appeared in front of Alex. You killed a level 1 slime, plus 1 experience points. And before it even disappeared, the second, the third, and more notifications soon filled his sight. Seeing that, Alex opened his character panel to view his luck points. 53. 54. 55. 56. When he saw that it was steadily increasing along with the kill notification, a smile unconsciously got onto his face. This way of farming is really way too comfortable. Chapter 28. Start of the Rise. Slime Plains. Alex killed slimes non-stop while sitting on Fairy's back comfortably. At the speed they were hunting, it took less than half an hour for the total number of slimes that they killed to reach the hundreds. Meaning, his luck points also broke through the hundreds. Luck points, 235. From 53 points, it shoots directly to 235 points. A total of 182 points increase. Seeing the big increase in the number of luck points on HIA panel, Alex smiled satisfiedly. This much luck points should be enough to ensure that nothing will go wrong with tonight's lottery show, Alex said. Tapping Fairy's neck, Alex ordered for him to stop. "Fairy, let's end our hunt for today. I still have things to do, so I will be leaving you again for now. Fairy obediently stopped and lowered himself to the ground, helping Alex get down easily. When Alex got down, he patted Fairy's head and said, I will leave now, Fairy. You go hide somewhere around here for now until I come back. As a leader-class monster, Fairy understood Alex's words and nodded. Seeing that, Alex smiled. The more he's with Fairy, the more Alex feels fond of him. Although Fairy was a wild monster before and was forcefully controlled by him using monster manipulation, Alex still got the feeling that it was like a tamed dog. Thinking of that, Alex chuckled while looking at Fairy. After that, Alex disappeared in the slime plains and appeared back at the alley not far away from school. He scanned his surroundings to see if anyone was around, and only after confirming that there's none did he leave. Alex walked towards the nearest sweepstakes store unhurriedly. It's only 5 o'clock in the afternoon at this time and the lottery draw starts at 9 p.m. So, there's no reason for him to hurry. After a couple of minutes, Alex arrived at the sweepstakes. The place was relatively empty, so Alex went to the counter. Good afternoon, I would like to place a bet on the lotto. Alex said to the guy playing with his phone behind the counter. The guy looked up at him unenthusiastically before grabbing a lotto paper and handing it to Alex. Here, fill it with the numbers of your choice. Alex took it and scanned for a second. There's a total of 45 numbers on the lotto paper from 1 to 45 and Alex has to choose 6 from them. Alex picked up a pen on the side and closed his eyes. Then he raised the pen above the paper with the tip pointed at it. Silently, Alex turned on his fortune state and once again, the world seems to turn everything in his favor. Without hesitation, Alex let go of the pen and it fell on the paper. Tack! When he heard the sound that the pen has already fallen, without opening his eyes, he picked it up and then let it go again after raising it above the paper. Tack! 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 Alex did that 6 times before turning off fortune. Opening his eyes, the first thing that came into Alex's sight is the weird look that the guy behind the counter is giving him. Alex just glanced at him before turning his eyes to the lotto paper. On it, 6 numbers have black dots on it. 18, 06, 13, 24, 21, 02. Obviously, it was the numbers that the pen fell into. Alex smiled. Then, without a word, he circled those numbers before handing it back to the counter. At the same time, he took an old tattered wallet from his pocket. Opening it, there's only 50 inside, which is the last money that Alex has in his hands. 50 equals $1. Alex took it and also gave it to the counter. Here's the payment. After taking the money, the guy behind the counter started processing Alex's lotto paper with the sweepstakes machine. Soon, Alex got his sweepstakes entry receipt and a 30 change. After checking if everything was correct, Alex left the store directly and headed back home. Right now, Alex is feeling some excitement in his heart. After all, if this works, he will get a huge amount of money. For a guy like him who's dirt poor, it will be life-changing. From searching scraps at the dump site to living comfortably for the rest of his life without the need to work. That's such an unimaginable change. Only those with great luck could possibly get something like that. And to Alex, luck is now something under his control. When he arrived at his house, Alex first went to the bathroom to take a shower. After he finished, he went to the kitchen to cook something with the few remaining ingredients available in the fridge. By the time he finished, it was already 8:30 in the evening. With the food in hand, Alex sat on the sofa and patiently waited for the lottery program while eating his dinner. After a while, the clock hit 9 p.m. and the program started. Good evening to our nationwide viewers, the lotto program is now about to start. Seeing that, Alex started to feel excited. Holding onto his lottery ticket, he said, "This is the moment of truth." Alex raised the TV volume to make sure that he won't miss anything. Under Alex's unblinking eyes, the show continued. Viewers, since no one won the lotto yesterday, our prize money is now 294 million. Now, without further ado, let's draw our first number. When the host said that, Alex turned on fortune immediately. After a few seconds, a number ball was shown on the screen. For our first number, number 18. When Alex saw the first number being shown on the TV, his lips slowly turned into a smile. Looks like things are working out just right. Alex continued watching while filled with anticipation in his heart. Then, without fail, the next few numbers are all the numbers that Alex chose. When the last number was finally shown, Alex immediately turned off fortune. And then, excitement rushed through his body and he started cheering. Woohoo! I really won! From his childhood to now, Alex rarely let go of his emotions like this. To live, he needed to be strong, to be cold, and to not show any unnecessary feelings. But now, in the face of winning a huge amount of money, at the chance to finally change his life, Alex wasn't able to keep it in anymore. The excitement that he is feeling is more than when he discovered the alter dimension. It was because alter dimension felt too unreal at the time. A magical experience that he doesn't really sink into his reality. However, the experience of winning the lottery feels real. This is because this is his world, the real world where he was born in, grew up in, and is living in. Unconsciously, a tear escaped from Alex's eyes. He's really feeling emotional. After tens of years of hardships, he now finally has the chance to rise in the real world. At the same time as he was experiencing an emotional roller coaster, the host on TV also announced that someone has finally won the lotto. Chapter 29. Turning a mall into a dungeon? After a while, Alex calmed down. Wiping his tears away, he looked at the TV that had already changed into another program. He slumped his back into the sofa and looked up at the ceiling. Actually, there's no ceiling in this house. When you look up, you will directly see the roof. Sometimes, when it rains, water drips down inside the house because there are a few holes in the roof. That is why it's such a hassle when the rainy season comes. Thinking of that, Alex said, those days were really depressing sometimes. Alone in the house, cleaning the water that leaked from the roof. Highs. Then when he thought that he is about to have, Alex can't help but become melancholic. With that money, I will be able to buy a good house in the city. Then I won't have to worry about leaks when the rainy season comes. I can also buy an air conditioner so that when the summer comes, I don't have to worry about the heat. All of these might sound simple to other people, but for Alex, these simple things are like things that can only happen in his dreams. Not all people are able to afford what we think is cheap, that's why we should be mindful when talking to other people. Anyway, while thinking of such things, Alex unknowingly fell asleep on the sofa. It seems like after the excitement he was worn out, exhaustion came and made him drift off to sleep. A peaceful night passed. The next day, the sun rose gently into the sky, giving life to every living being on earth. The gentle morning sunlight shone through Alex's sleeping face through the window, making him appear holy for a second. Feeling the warm touch of the sun, Alex's closed eyes flickered before slowly opening. Looking around, Alex noticed that it was already morning and got up. Ugh, I fell asleep on the sofa, hey. Alex said while doing some stretches. After that, Alex is finally fully awake. And so, he immediately started preparing to leave. He took a shower and ate some leftovers for breakfast before leaving the house. This time, Alex is not wearing his school uniform. Because his destination for today is not school but the sweepstakes office. So, with casual wear, Alex started walking towards the Pearl City Center. This time, the city center is really far from Alex's home. If you go there from Alex's house using a car, it will take about 30 minutes. But now, Alex has to walk that far since he has no more money to use for commuting. Fortunately, Alex's body is now multiple times stronger than before. Such distance is no problem to him now. And with his speed, he can even arrive there faster than a car if he wants to. While walking, he said to himself, next time, I might no longer have to walk. I can just buy a car and experience the feeling of driving. Thinking of that, Alex's speed can't help but hasten a little. He can't wait to get the money already and so he started hurrying. An hour later, Alex arrived at the sweepstakes office. Immediately, he strode inside and walked towards an inquiry counter. Hello, good morning, how may I help you? The female staff asked with a polite smile on her face. Taking the lotto ticket from his pocket, Alex said, last night I won the grand prize for the lotto so. Showing the ticket, Alex didn't continue speaking. Hearing his words, the girl looked surprised. But with her professionalism, her face returned to normal just after a second. Then with a smile, she said, Sir, to get your prize money, please head to the second floor and go through the procedure. Alex nodded, Okay, thank you, miss. After saying thanks to the staff, Alex looked for the stairs and went up. The staff left behind looked at Alex's gradually disappearing figure. She sighed, feeling a little envious. She said, the winner this time is such a young guy, hey. How I wish I could also win the lotto and quit my job. After Alex went upstairs, he met the official who's responsible for the sweepstakes. From there, Alex was guided through the procedure. After about an hour, Alex finally left the sweepstakes office with a bank card. Alex received $235 million after the tax was deducted. Outside the sweepstakes office, Alex stood there, feeling like it was all a dream. So now, I'm officially a millionaire. Calling himself a millionaire feels so strange to him. Then, what should I do? Should I buy something? Feeling that he was starting to get anxious because of the sudden wealth he received, Alex took a deep breath and calmed himself. Relax, Alex. This is just money, no need to be so agitated. He said to himself. After that, Alex managed to regain his composure. Looking around, Alex thought about what he should do. Now that he has the money, Alex can't really think of what he should do with it. Should he buy a house? How about buying a car? Or maybe invest it somewhere? Alex doesn't really know what to do, that's why he decided to walk around to clear his head first. Wandering aimlessly, Alex observes the city center calmly. So this is what the city center looks like in the morning, hey? He said. Alex is usually at the outskirts of the city where his house and the dump site are located. In his whole life in this city, the number of times that he went to the city center can be counted with the finger on his hands. And all those times, he didn't get the chance to look around like today, so everything feels a little blurry in his memory. Now, looking at the bustling city center, Alex can't help but be infected by the energy of everyone. After walking for a while, Alex unconsciously arrived at the Royal Mall. Seeing the people going in and out, Alex suddenly thought of his dungeon for some reason. With a light in his eyes, he curiously thought. Will it be possible to turn a mall like this into a dungeon if I own it? Chapter 30. Balance Attributes, All-Rounder Path. Strolling around the mall, Alex is searching for something that could pique his interest. Then after walking for a couple of minutes, Alex saw a few clothing stores. Looking at the clothes he's wearing, it's old and the color is already fading. With one look, you can immediately see that it's from those roadside stalls that can be bought cheaply. So, Alex said, I heard a saying that clothes make a man, so maybe I should buy some new clothes first. He walked to one of the clothing stores called Leaf. It is a brand that Alex has seen before a lot of times, as it was also quite popular with teens. Alex entered the shop and was greeted by a sales lady. Hello, sir, what are you looking for? Alex glanced at her and said, I plan to buy some casual clothes. As you can see, my clothes are already very old. The sales lady nodded in understanding, so that's it. You can find some great casual clothing over here, sir. Following behind the sales lady, Alex looked through the clothes on display. Sir, how about this one? It is comfortable to wear and is made of high-quality cotton. Alex checked the clothes on the sales ladies for a bit before nodding. Okay, I'll take that one. Let's look for a few more. After that, Alex went all over the store buying all kinds of clothes from t-shirts, pants, jeans, jackets, etc. Soon, clothes piled up in front of Alex. Nodding, Alex satisfiedly said, this is good enough, I'll pay for it now. Putting everything at the counter, Alex waited for the total to be counted. 5 minutes later, the cashier finished counting and it totaled to $472.92. Alex swiped his bank card at the machine and successfully paid for the clothes he bought. Leaving the store with lots of paper bags on his hand, Alex finds it really bothersome. Why didn't I think of this? I should have only shopped when I'm about to go home. Unable to endure having to carry all this while walking around, Alex went to the comfort room. Fortunately, there's no one around the comfort room at this time. And so, Alex put all the paper bags in his hands inside his inventory. After doing that, Alex patted his hands and smiled, there, much better. Leaving the comfort room, Alex continued wandering around the mall again. From time to time, he will buy some snacks such as siomai, fries, hot dog, etc., just anything that he can find. After strolling for almost an hour, Alex sat on a bench placed inside the mall. Sighing, he said, this is pretty boring. Grinding for levels in Alter Dimension is much more fun than doing all this. By the way, I haven't seen how many points I used yesterday. Opening his character panel, Alex looked at his luck points. Luck points, 92. With a thoughtful expression, Alex stared at the number on the panel. My points went down by a lot, hey. 143, so I only consumed a total of 143 points yesterday. Thinking of it, 143 luck points is something he can earn easily in Alter Dimension by farming slimes for less than an hour. In exchange for that, he was able to get a huge amount of wealth that would be unimaginable for the previous him. Anyway, Alex continued looking at his character panel, then saw the piled up attribute points from yesterday's hunting. Name, 0. Class, Dungeon Master. Level, 6. Talent, Fortune's Embodiment. Health, 1400/1400. Mana, 1240/1240. Strength, 80 Constitution, 80 Agility, 80 Intelligence, 99 Charisma, 26. Free attributes, 915. Skill points, 34. Skills, Sacrifice, U, Monster Manipulation, A, Lord's Sanctuary, A, Fireball, D, Earth Spike, D, Wind Blade, D, Freeze, D, Water Ball, D, Stealth, D, Concealment, A. Farming slimes yesterday didn't just bring me luck points. I also got so many attribute points thanks to sacrifice. Alex pondered how to distribute his attribute points. Will keeping it all in a balanced number be better? Since attribute points is the thing that Alex lacks the most, he can just proceed with an all-rounder type of build with his stats. I'll just try it out, I can just fix it again anytime in the future anyway. And so, Alex proceeds with his thoughts. After Alex finished distributing his attribute points, his status now looks like this. Name, 0. Class, Dungeon Master. Level, 6. Talent, Fortune's Embodiment. Health, 2960/2960. Mana, 2710/2710. Strength, 256 Constitution, 256 Agility, 256 Intelligence, 256 Charisma, 256. Free attributes, 0. Skill points, 34. Skills, Sacrifice, U, Monster Manipulation, A, Lord's Sanctuary, A, Fireball, D, Earth Spike, D, Wind Blade, D, Freeze, D, Water Ball, D, Stealth, D, Concealment, A. Each of Alex's attributes shot through the roof. Right now, he's still at level 6, but each of his status can probably fight against those who went through class advancement at level 25 or even higher. Since 10 is the average stats of a normal human, Alex, who has 256 on each attribute, is 25 times more stronger than an average human. In the real world, Alex has also reached the superhuman level. Alex rubbed his chin with a smile. My strength has really increased by a lot this time. Maybe I should go back now and try out just how strong I really became. With that idea on his head, Alex stood up and was about to leave. But he suddenly noticed that, at some point, the people on the mall had started looking at him with bright eyes. This caused him to frown. Why are they looking at me? When he observed those eyes more carefully, Alex noticed that most of them were from girls who's looking at him with admiring eyes. Deciding to ignore those looks, Alex turned around and was about to leave. But behind him, a mirror was actually placed in and he saw his reflection on it. The next second, he froze. Only after a few seconds did he finally react. With a shocked expression, he said, "Wait, was that me?"